Live from Cheyenne, Wyoming, Post 22 Baseball is on the air. It is the finale of the first road trip of the season for your Post 22 Hardhats, the finale of a three-game series against the host Cheyenne Post 6 Sixers. And with that, we say good morning, and we welcome you inside our press box here at Powers Field in Cheyenne, Wyoming. Mark Benetti alongside you in the broadcast booth, bringing you the ensuing 7 innings of regulation here on ESPN Rapid City, the official radio home of Post 22 Hardhats Baseball, also streamed live on the internet on Hardhats-TV. The Hardhats won their doubleheader yesterday in dramatic fashion, both games with some late-inning heroics, winning Game 1 by a 7-6 score in one extra inning, so 8 total in that matchup, and then they won by a 4-3 count as well for their first regulation win of the season in 3 games played. That means heading into Game 4 of the early stages of the season for Post 22, they are a perfect 3-0. Coming up against the Cheyenne club playing in their 11th game of the season, they are 7-3. With the Hardhats sweeping the doubleheader yesterday, they halted what was a 6-game winning streak for the Sixers. So let's go ahead and take a look at both of the lineups to start off this morning's final matchup between both of these teams. The Sixers looking to salvage 1 game in the series. The Hardhats looking for the clean 3-game sweep. The Hardhats are going to bat in the top halves of our 7 innings of regulation today, as they did for both games yesterday. So let's get right to the Hardhats lineup, leading off with number 22, Cooper Bowman, as always, out at the shortstop position. Batting second is number 21, Matt Hegre. He is in the hot corner at third base. Batting third, number 18, Alex Weaver. He's been upped in the lineup, if you will. He's in left field, and in the cleanup position, as he was yesterday, is number 15, Zach Sumption. He'll patrol right field. Batting fifth is number 30, Jace Caldwell. He's the designated hitter this morning for the Hardhats. Batting sixth is number 23, Jack Sorensen. He's out at first base. Batting seventh is the left-handed hitting center fielder, Connor King, wearing 13 on his back. Batting eighth is number 25, Ryan Schmidt. He's the backstopper and catcher for today's starting pitcher. And rounding out the batting order in the 9th spot for the Hardhats is number 10, Carter Deming. He is the second baseman. Holden Jackson starting on the mound for Post 22. We'll have the performance of the national anthem and get ready with Cheyenne's lineup and more here on ESPN Rapid City and Hardhats-TV. Just a minor acceleration of our pregame festivities as we get set for this third and final game of the weekend between the Cheyenne Post 6 Sixers playing host to your Post 22 Hardhats. Mark Benetti alongside you in the broadcast booth here on ESPN Rapid City, the official radio home of Post 22 Hardhats Baseball on 1340 AM and 105.7 FM. We're also streamed live on the internet on Hardhats-TV. The Cheyenne Post 6 defense is about to take the field. And with it, their starting pitcher, Max Pedroza, who yesterday played at both first and third, as well as the catching position. He will take on the top 3 of the Hardhats batting order to start off this top half of the first inning of our 7 of regulation. Cooper Bowman to lead off, followed by Matt Hegre and Alex Weaver. Surrounding the pitcher, Max Pedroza, is the defensive alignment of the Sixers. He's paired up with his battery mate and catcher, Finley Hastings. At first is Cody Brooks, second Nico Vite, at shortstop Ryan Andren, and in the hot corner at third is R.J. Prince. Left to right in the outfield is Jackson Hesford, Braxton Innes, and Matthew Semler. Pedroza making his first appearance on the mound this weekend. As I mentioned, he played catcher and some of the infield positions as well on the corners, particularly at first and third. And he's going against the post-22 lineup that, in speaking with pitching coach Ryan Klaparich, is looking to be a tad bit more aggressive in the batter's box. Coach Klaparich pointed out a brilliant statistic to me today that the team this weekend has struck out 24 times throughout the first 3 games of the season, has struck out 24 times and has only hit the ball 23 times, 19 of which of those hits are singles. He wants his team to avoid the 2-strike count if possible and be a bit more aggressive. Put the ball in play. Make the defense earn their outs that they register against you. Somebody definitely brilliant in being tasked with leading that charge is Cooper Bowman, who was slotted into the leadoff position in Game 2 yesterday of the doubleheader. And he had a fantastic day at the plate, going 1 for 3, reaching base 3 times. He walked, he singled, and he reached on an error. So Cooper Bowman picking up from where he left off last season for this Hardhats club. A tad bit of shuffling for the Hardhats in the lineup. Connor King was normally in either the leadoff or second position in the lineup. He's now been bumped down to the 7 hole. A tad bit of a rough go for Connor King yesterday, and he was a tad bit hard on himself as well following the sweep of the doubleheader. But it's good to see that compete level come out of Connor. He's somebody that really takes pride in playing great baseball and excelling at his position on both defense and in the batting order. So it's not necessarily a knock against Connor. Maybe the 7 hole brings a different look for him, and he's able to contribute offensively for the Hardhats today. Cooper Bowman, the right-handed hitting shortstop, about to step into the batter's box. Through this young season, hitting .500 on the season. And on the weekend, is hitting .571 against Cheyenne. Max Pedroza looks in to Finley Hastings, his battery mate, and the first pitch is a called strike on the outside corner to kick off this ball game at 11:47 this morning. 0-1 the count here to Cooper Bowman. Tad bit overcast here at Powers Field, unlike yesterday where it was blue skies and sun for the vast majority of the morning and afternoon. 0-1 pitch is swung on and hit high in the air in foul territory. That's first base side, and it's over the Hardhats dugout. And quickly, Bowman is in an 0-2 hole. So, again, Ryan Klaparich and Coach Torvey had both stressed that they wanted to stay away from the 2-strike count, and already one batter in there in a 2-strike count. But, again, it was if you could avoid the 2-strike count. In this case, Bowman couldn't. No balls and 2 strikes to count to the Hardhats shortstop, and Pedroza, full windup, deals low and away on a breaking pitch. And Bowman stays alive, a ball and 2 strikes. Matt Heggery and Alex Weaver set to follow Bowman in the batter's box. Those 3 gentlemen due up here to start off the top of the first. And here comes the 1-2. Swung on, ball's hit high in the air, right side of the outfield. And charging in from right to make the catch is Matthew Semler for the first out of the ballgame. 1 up, 1 down for the Hardhats, and that will bring up Matt Heggery, once again playing in the hot corner, third base position for post 22. Heggery on the weekend batting .222. Overall in the season batting .250. No one on, 1 out here in a scoreless top of the first. First pitch to Heggery's a fastball, misses low and away. 1-0 the count. Heggery stepping into the third base role that was occupied by Justin Kramer for a long time. And here comes his 1-0. That misses outside. 2 balls and no strikes now the count. No one on for Heggery, and 1 out here in a scoreless top of the first. Hardhats looking for a 3-game sweep of this weekend set. 2-0. That skips low, and the count goes to 3-0 for Heggery. Heggery steps back in. Pedroza cleans off the rubber. And now he looks in for his sign with Finley Hastings. We had an abbreviation of our pregame ceremony, so we were unable to get to the Cheyenne post-6 batting order. And we'll give that to you in the bottom half of this inning. Heggery looks at ball 4 high and away, so he draws a 1-out walk. He's on the base path for the first time today, and that will bring up the left fielder Alex Weaver with a man on and 1 out here in a scoreless top of the first. Alex Weaver batting .167 on the season. Again, very young in 3 games this year. Weaver hitting .125 on the weekend. First pitch to Weaver. Swung on and missed. High fastball. 0-1 the count here to Weaver. Spent some time with the Hardhats last year. Not too much, though. No balls and a strike to count to the Hardhats left fielder with a man on and 1 out. And from the stretch comes Pedroza. 0-1 pitch. Check swing, and they called strike 2 on that one. Called strike. 0-2 the count here to Weaver. He held up on an off-speed pitch, but caught the zone. 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes to count. Pedroza looking for his first punch-out, and he deals upstairs. 1-2 the count now to Weaver. Pedroza, for the record, and again, we'll get to the batting order for Cheyenne at the bottom of the first inning. He will bat on top of being the starting pitcher. He's batting in the 6 hole, just to give you a preview of the Sixers lineup. Ball and 2 strikes to count. Pedroza from the stretch deals. Caught him looking. Strike 3 with a fastball that caught the outside part of the plate. First strikeout of the game for Pedroza, and it's a backwards K in the book. 2 down with Hegre on first for the Hardhats here in a scoreless top of the first, and that's going to bring us to Zach Sumption. 4th game in a row, Sumption hitting in the cleanup position. Pedroza from the stretch gives a quick peek to Hegre at first, and the first pitch. Called strike right at the knees of Sumption. 0-1 the count. Zach Sumption on the weekend batting 111. And on the season, batting under 100, 0.77. Pedroza looked to the man on first and the 0-1 to Sumption. And that one missed low. And the count evens to a ball and a strike for the Hardhats right fielder. If Sumption perpetuates the inning, then Jace Caldwell, the DH, is on deck. If not, Hardhats will transition from offense to defense, and to the bottom of the first will go. There's a man on first and 2 outs here in a scoreless top of the first. Pedroza deals the 1-1 to Sumption, and that's a fastball called strike on the outside corner. 1-2 the count. One and two. Pedroza looking for his second punch out. That would bring up the bottom half of this inning. 1-2 pitch, runner goes, and that's high and inside for a ball, and throw to second's not in time, and Hegre steals second. So a 2-out stolen base there for Hegre, and the count will even up at 2-2 now for Sumption. So a man in scoring position to 2 outs. Two and two the count here to Sumption. Looking to switch places now with Hegre on second. Pedroza double take to second. They check back to second, and he's out. They picked him off. And that is going to end the inning. That is a 1-6 pickoff, and that will end the top half of the first. So Sumption will lead off the top of the second as his at-bat was interrupted. No runs, no hits, no errors charged to Cheyenne on defense. Nobody left on the base path after the pickoff. And at the end of a half an inning, we're still scoreless, and Cheyenne comes up to bat with the top third of the order due up. We'll be right back in just a few moments here on ESPN Rapid City and stream live on the internet on Hardhats-TV.
Coke Zero goes with things like this. This. And this. Coke Zero tastes like this.
He shoots! He scores!
It sounds like this. It feels like this. So when the game is on, try it with this. Coke Zero. Real Coca-Cola taste. 0 calories, 0 sugar. Coke Zero goes with...
Post 22 Hardhats Baseball here on ESPN Rapid City is presented by Courtesy Subaru, Shields, Qdoba Mexican Eats, Renewal by Anderson, Sicky's Garage Burgers and Brews, Mustang Disaster Cleanup, and the Man Salon. Only a half an inning played here at Powers Field, and the Hardhats and the Cheyenne Post 6 Sixers are still scoreless. The Sixers transition from defense to offense, and the Hardhats have their defensive alignment out and ready to go. Holden Jackson, the starting pitcher for the Hardhats. We'll give you more information on him in a bit. Leading off for Cheyenne Post 6 is number 8, Braxton Innes, defensively patrolling center field. Batting second, number 3, Ryan Andrin, he's at shortstop. Batting third, number 17, Finley Hastings, he's the catcher. And batting in the cleanup position, number 5, R.J. Prince, he's in the hot corner at third. Batting fifth is number 50, Cody Brooks, a left-handed hitting first baseman. Batting sixth is number 7, Max Pedroza, the starting pitcher. Batting seventh is number 13, Nico Vite at second base. Batting eighth is number 12, Matthew Semler in right field. And rounding out the batting order in the 9 hole is number 14, Jackson Hesford. He's patrolling left field. First pitch to Braxton Innes for the lefty, hit high in the air to left. Alex Weaver tracks underneath it. And in one pitch, we have our first out registered in the bottom half of the first. Innes was not in the lineup yesterday for any of the games. He is a veteran of the Sixers program. We just didn't happen to see him. So one up, one down on one pitch for Holden Jackson. That'll bring us to Ryan Andrin, the shortstop. Jackson, his second start of the season, and the first pitch is a called strike on the outside corner. 0-1 the count to Andrin. Jackson comes in his second appearance of the season and his second start. He has 1 strikeout to 3 walks and a hit batsman. 4.67 ERA in the 3 innings of which he earned on Wednesday night. 0-1 to Andrin, just missed. And the count evens up to a ball and a strike. Andrin in game 2 yesterday ended up going 1 for 2 with a pair of walks and a single. He also came in to pitch from the shortstop position as well. Was credited with the loss yesterday. Next pitch swung on, and that ball's hit high in the air to center field. Underneath it is Connor King. He patiently waits, and he makes the catch. So 2 up and 2 down quickly for Jackson on the mound here in the bottom of the first. Scoreless with no one on, and that'll bring us to Finley Hastings, the catcher. He was another gentleman of which was not in the lineup yesterday for any of the 2 games in the doubleheader. Full windup for the righty and Jackson, and the pitch is high and upstairs. 1-0. If Hastings keeps the inning going, R.J. Prince is on deck. Batting in the cleanup position, also playing in the hot corner at third. 1-0 from Jackson. Called strike. Right at the belt, 1-1. Another thing that Coach Clapper and Coach Torvey were saying is that they'd like to see their starting pitcher go more than 3 innings, and Jackson clearly capable of that. He was pulled after 3 yesterday. That's been the MO of the Hardhats pitching as of recently. 1-1 pitch. What a beautiful breaking pitch, but it missed outside. 2-1 the count from Jackson. There is no one on the base path here for Hastings. Hardhats an out away from going back to the sticks and bringing up the top of the second. 2-1 pitch. Called strike right at the belt of Hastings. Good fastball location from Jackson early on. 2-2 now the count. Two balls and 2 strikes the count. Jackson looking for his first punch out. Full windup. He deals to Hastings, and that misses low and inside, and the count goes full. So now 3-2. First payoff pitch of the entire ball game for anybody. This will be his 10th pitch, and boy, would he like to get out on this one. Very efficient if he could. Payoff pitch coming from Jackson. Looking for the punch out to end it, and he deals. Swung on, and it's fouled off by Hastings. And he stays alive with no one on and 2 outs here in the bottom of a scoreless first inning. So another payoff pitch coming up. This is number 2 of the at-bat. Full windup for Jackson, and he deals to Hastings. Just missed outside on the breaking pitch. He thought he had a backwards K. And the umpire said, no, that's ball 4, and Hastings takes his base. So a 2-out walk issued by Jackson, and that's going to bring up R.J. Prince. Coach Klaparich really wants to see some consistency and efficiency from the pitching staff. Efficiency, getting out of the inning in as few pitches as possible. First pitch from Jackson misses low and away on R.J. Prince, the third baseman for the Sixers. 1-0 his starting count. And with regards to that efficiency, you'd like to see the pitcher get out in around 15 pitches. Next pitch swung on and missed by Prince. 1-1 the count with 2 outs and a man on first here in the bottom of a scoreless first inning. Prince batted in the 3 position yesterday in both games. Game 2 in particular, he went 1 for 3 with a backwards K, a double, and a walk. Check to first, not there in time. So back is Hastings. In Game 1, he went 0 for 4. So 1 for 7 on the day yesterday for the third baseman of the Sixers. He takes his 1-1 pitch and he fouls it off. Ball and 2 strikes now the count. Jackson again, a pitch away from ending the inning. 1-2 the count to R.J. Prince, the cleanup hitter and third baseman. 2 outs, a man on here in the bottom of a scoreless first inning. Jackson from the stretch takes his time and delivers his 1-2. Breaking pitch, froze him, but it just missed up high at the letters. 2-2 the count. Great to see the control of Holden Jackson's curveball from year to year constantly improve. And in particular, this year, it is on point through 2 starts. 2-2 pitch, missed low and away, and it skips off the glove of the catcher, Ryan Schmidt. And so now, Finley Hastings will advance to scoring position on the wild pitch. Another payoff pitch coming up here for Jackson. He has a chance to either keep this inning going or end the inning. He would certainly prefer the latter. Man on second now, 2 outs, scoreless, bottom of the first. Payoff pitch, swung on and missed, strike 3, and that's going to do it. So Jackson gets out of the inning in just 17 pitches, so a semi-efficient inning for him. No runs, no hits, no errors charged to post 22 on defense. 1 man left on the base path. He was 180 feet from scoring. And at the end of 1 inning of play, both the Sixers and the Hardhats are scoreless in their series finale in their 3-game weekend series. We'll take a quick breather, folks. We will be right back with the heart of the order due up for the Hardhats in the top half of the second inning. You're listening to Post 22 Hardhats Baseball on ESPN Rapid City and streamed live on the internet on Hardhats-TV. Well, we've played 1 inning here at Powers Field, and we have no runs to speak of. Actually, all we have to speak of are zeros. For the Hardhats across the board through 1 inning, no runs, hits, or errors, and that's the exact same stat line for the Sixers as well. Post 22 swept yesterday's doubleheader, 7, 6, and 8 innings. They needed 1 extra to get the job done. 4-3 in regulation, 7 in Game 2. And for the Hardhats, even though we're only 3 games into this season, that was their first win without needing extra innings. Mark Benetti alongside you in the broadcast booth from Powers Field here in Cheyenne, Wyoming. We are on ESPN Rapid City, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM back home in the Black Hills. And we're also video streamed on the internet on Hardhats-TV. Seth Harwood, my director, sitting to my right, making sure we are up and running and all systems are green. His first season working with our beloved Post 22 organization. Zach Sumption's at-bat was interrupted the last time he was up. That was at the top of the first. Matt Hegre was picked off second base after he stole it. So Sumption gets another crack at Max Pedroza. He had a 2-2 count before Hegre was caught off the base. And the first pitch again from Pedroza is swung on and missed. 0-1 the count. So Coach Klappridge made it a point, speaking with him pregame, that he wants to avoid 2-strike counts. Well, in 4 batters he had in the top of the first, 3 of them had a 2-strike count at some point. 0-1 pitch from Sumption, swung on, and it's chopped foul. Third base side. 0-2 now the count to Sumption. And again, if you could avoid the 2-strike count, you can. And that's what he's hoping for. Bowman fouled off a couple of times. Weaver had a foul ball. Sumption now fouling in twice to a 2-strike count. So it's not like the Hardhats are passing up on good pitches. 0-2 from Pedroza. Swung on, and the ball is chopped foul once again, third base side. And the count will hold at no balls and 2 strikes. Sumption again enters this ball game with a .077 average. And again, only 3 games in. You can't really put too much stock in that. And here comes the 0-2 from Pedroza. Swung on, and that ball is ripped into left field, and it's going to drop for a base hit. So Zach Sumption gets a leadoff single to start off the top half of the second as Jackson Hesford comes into field and throws to the infield. Leadoff man's aboard with no one out. And that's going to bring up Jace Caldwell, the designated hitter. Caldwell hitting .222 through 3 games this season. Only played in 1 yesterday and went 2 for 4 with an RBI and scored twice. First pitch to him, swung on. That ball's hit high in the air to left center field. That ball has legs, and it's going to roll all the way to the wall. Rounding third and heading home is Zach Sumption. Caldwell stands on second with what looks to be a no-out RBI double. And the Hardhats strike first in this ball game here in the top of the second with a man on second and no one out. It's a 1-0 lead. Jace Caldwell took the first pitch he saw and absolutely torched it to the gap in left center. And the Hardhats, for the first time all season, have struck first in a ball game. And it's 1-0. And so now here comes Jack Sorensen, the first baseman, to try and keep the train rolling against Pedroza. Pedroza looked to second. Here comes the first pitch to Sorensen. Called strike. Fastball outside corner. And it's 0-1 for the Hardhats first baseman. Sorensen on the weekend batting .500. 3 for 6 with 3 singles, an RBI, and a run scored. He's also walked once. And on second, no one out here in the top of the second, and the Hardhats lead. 0-1 to Sorensen, dips too low, and it's a 1-1 count now. Sorensen on the season for the Hardhats, batting .300 through 3 games. Caldwell takes his lead off second. An RBI double gets him on the base path. Pedroza from the stretch takes a breath and sets. Double take to second. 1-1 to Sorensen. Breaking ball missed low. Good eye from Sorensen. 2-1 now the count. Left-handed hitting center fielder Connor King is on deck. Two and 1 the count to Sorensen with a man on second. No one out here in the top of the second. A 1-0 Hardhats lead. Pitch is fouled to the backstop. And the count evens at 2-2. Jace Caldwell, the only man on the base path. An RBI double got him there. It knocked in Zach Sumption all the way from first base. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Pedroza looking for his second punch out. Takes his time and looks to second. And from the stretch, the 2-2. Swung on, and that ball is pushed into right field for a base hit. Rounding third and heading home is Caldwell. Fielding in right is Semler, and he throws into the infield, and the throw won't get there. An RBI single for Jack Sorensen. Back-to-back RBI hits for the Hardhats, and it's now a 2-0 post-22 lead with no outs and a man on first here in the top of the second. So 3 men in the batter's box to start this top of the second, and 3 hits. The first 2 gentlemen of which have now been knocked in. Connor King comes up, trying to keep this train rolling. King batting on the weekend, 143. 1 for 7. Pedroza from the stretch, a quick peek to Sorensen at first, and the first pitch to King is swung on, and that ball is hit high in the air to right field. That ball has some legs on it, and Semler can't catch it. It goes all the way to the wall. Sorensen's going to take third. King easily on second with a double, and Sorensen will hold 90 feet from home. 4 consecutive hits from the Hardhats, a pair of singles and a pair of doubles. And now men are on second and third, still no one out here in the top of the second, and that's going to bring us to the catcher, Ryan Schmidt. So 4 consecutive hits for 4 batters to start off this inning. And Pedroza and Finley Hastings, his battery mate, have a quick discussion before Schmidt steps into the batter's box. Ryan Schmidt for the Hardhats, batting .250 through 3 games this season. And on the weekend, batting .286, 2 hits and 7 at-bats with a hit by pitch, an RBI, and 2 singles. Men on second and third for Schmidt. First pitch. Low and inside, 1-0 to the Hardhats backstopper. Connor King on second with a double. Jack Sorensen on third. Gained entry on the base path with an RBI single. So 4 men up for the Hardhats and 4 hits. A pair of singles, a pair of doubles. Schmidt looks at his 1-0, and the pitch is swung on and hit foul. That's behind home plate and out of play. And the count evens up at 1-1 for the Hardhat catcher. King on second, Sorensen on third, the latter of which the most immediate threat on the base path. This is going to be the 30th pitch for Pedroza. And he deals his 1-1 to Schmidt. Breaking ball, caught the inside part of the plate for strike 2. And Schmidt now behind 1-2. So Pedroza looking for what would be a big second strikeout here to get his first out of this top half of the second. 2 men in scoring position for the Hardhats. 1-2 to Schmidt. High and away, fastball, and it's 2-2. Deming on deck has yet to register a hit this weekend. He's looking for his first one against the Sixers. Post 22 with a 2-0 lead. 2 men in scoring position. No one out here in the top of the second. Schmidt a chance to really blow this one open. 2-2 pitch is fought off foul to the backstop, and he stays alive. Sumption led off the inning with a single, came around to score. Jace Caldwell, first pitch he saw, cranked an RBI double to the gap in the left. Jack Sorensen followed it up with an RBI single, pushing the ball to right. Connor King a double. And that's where we stand heading up to Schmidt. 2-2 pitch. Swung on, and the ball's hit right up the middle to short. Andrin gets the stop. The throw to first is in time, but Schmidt does succeed in knocking in Jack Sorensen from third and advancing Connor King to third as well. So an RBI ground out for Schmidt, 6-3 in the scorebook, and that gives the Hardhats now a 3-0 lead with 1 out and a man 90 feet from home here in the top of the second. So now Carter Deming, the 9-hole hitter, comes up with Connor King 90 feet to his left. First pitch to the Hardhats second baseman is low and away, ball 1. As I mentioned, Deming still looking for his first hit of the weekend. On the season, Deming is also looking for his first hit as well. 0 for 7 in 10 plate appearances. 1-0 from Pedroza, high and away, 2-0. Connor King 90 feet away from making this a 4-0 Hardhats lead. RBI double from Jace Caldwell, RBI single from Sorensen, and an RBI ground out from Ryan Schmidt. Quick meeting between Hastings and Pedroza. Pedroza now at 35 pitches, soon to be 36. He had 16 in the first inning, but he only has 1 out registered in this top half of the second. From the stretch, here comes the 2-0. Swung on and fouled to the backstop. And the count evens at 2-1 for the Hardhats second baseman. His first hit of the season would surely bring home Connor King, who stands 90 feet from giving the Hardhats a 4th run here in the top of the second, and subsequently a 4-0 lead. 3 runs on 4 hits so far for the Hardhats in the top of the second. Only 1 out registered. Pedroza will come again from the stretch, and the righty deals the 2-1. Low and away, 3 balls and a strike now to Deming. Three balls and a strike. Pedroza sets and deals his 3-1 to Deming. And that caught the outside corner for strike 2. Nice fastball low and away. Full count now for Deming. Big payoff pitch coming from Pedroza, his first in this start. And here it comes to Deming. Swung on and fought off foul again to the backstop, and Deming stays alive. Cooper Bowman doing his due diligence from the on-deck circle, grabs a loose ball and hands it to our home plate umpire. Payoff pitch number 2 coming from Pedroza to Deming. And from the stretch, the righty deals. Low and away, ball 4. So Deming issued a walk with 1 out. That will now force runners on the corners and bring us back to the top of the order to Cooper Bowman. Bowman 0 for 1 in the ball game. He flew out to right on a 1-2 pitch to kick off the entire contest. So Bowman with 2 men, 90 feet to his right, Deming with the walk, 90 feet to his left, King. The double got him on the base path. He was advanced on the RBI ground out for Ryan Schmidt. First pitch from Pedroza. Inside, caught the corner, strike 1. Nice breaking pitch there from Pedroza. No balls and a strike. Bowman keeps the inning going and does not hit into the double play. Matt Hegre's on deck. 3 runs in this top half of the second for the Hardhats. Only 1 out registered with men on the corners for Bowman. 0-1 pitch from Pedroza. Way upstairs. Ball and a strike. Ball and a strike now, the count to the Hardhat shortstop. Committed as of right now to the University of Hawaii to play his college baseball. Got a chance to speak with his father today, and he's brandishing a new Hawaii Warriors logo tattoo. Good to see him supporting Cooper in his baseball endeavor. 1-1 to the Hardhat shortstop. Breaking pitch missed low and away. 2-1 the count. That was a nice-looking breaking ball from Pedroza, but wasn't tantalizing enough for Bowman to take an offer at. 2 balls and a strike to count now to Bowman. Men on the corners and only 1 out here in the top of the second. A 3-0 Hardhats lead. Pedroza double take to first, and here comes the 2-1. Check swing too far inside for Bowman. It's 3-1. So Bowman's a pitch away from a free pass, and that would load the bases up for Matt Hegre. 3-1 the count for Bowman. Pedroza agrees on a sign with Finley Hastings as catcher. And from the stretch, deals the 3-1. Swung on, and that ball is hit high in the air to shallow center. 3 gentlemen converge. Andren, the shortstop, looks like he has the better break. He makes the catch for the second out. He retires Bowman. He got his throw in home, and King does bring us to Matt Hegre. Pedroza high and away. Hegre walked back in the top of the first. Alex Weaver on deck should we get there. Men on the corners, 2 outs here in the top of the second. It's a 3-0 Hardhats lead. And the 1-0, a called strike, belt high, and it's 1-1 now to Hegre. Should Hegre be retired, 5, 6, and 7 are due up for the Sixers in the bottom half of the second. That would start off with the left-handed hitting first baseman, Cody Brooks. Pedroza's 1-1. That misses low and away. The ball skips away from Hastings, the catcher, and taking advantage of second is Carter Deming. So Deming on the passed ball will advance to scoring position. It's a 2-1 count for Hegre, and now 2 men in scoring position for the Hardhats third baseman. 2-1 his count against Max Pedroza. About to throw his 49th pitch in this start, and we're not even out of the second inning yet. 2-1 pitch. Swung on. Ball is hit high in the air to right center field. Shadowing from center. Underneath it is Braxton Innes. He makes the catch in front of him, and that's going to do it. So the Hardhats strand 2 men on the base path, but they do some serious damage in the early stages of the frame. They knock in 3 runs on the power of 4 hits. No errors were charged to the Sixers. 2 men left on the base path on second and third, and at the end of an inning and a half, the Hardhats, for the first time in a game this season, strike first. They have a 3-0 lead over the Sixers. We'll go to the bottom half of the second with Cody Brooks to lead us off for the Sixers in just a few moments. You're listening to Post 22 Hardhats Baseball on ESPN Rapid City and live on the internet on Hardhats-TV. For those Rapid City Rush fans tuning into our broadcast today, if you have no plans later this evening, I urge you all to go to Patty O'Neill's at the Hotel Alex Johnson in downtown Rapid City. Rush are hosting an NHL Stanley Cup playoff watch party, and this is probably one of the most compelling series of the second round. Vegas Golden Knights taking on the San Jose Sharks, and if Vegas wins Game 6 tonight, then in their first year in the National Hockey League, they'll advance to their first Western Conference final. Holden Jackson back on the mound, and his first opponent is Cody Brooks, the left-handed hitting first baseman. He swings and misses at an off-speed pitch to start off 0-1 against the Hardhats starter. Jackson quickly back to work. Here comes the 0-1 to Brooks. It just missed the fastball outside, and the count evens up at 1-1. Brooks was the starting pitcher in Game 2 yesterday, played first base primarily throughout the day. Game 1, he went 1 for 3 with an RBI single and a strikeout. And the next pitch is swung on, and it's ripped into right through the gap between first and second and in for a base hit. Cody Brooks in Game 2 went 0 for 3, including lining into a double play, so this is his second hit of the weekend. A leadoff single for the Sixers to start off the bottom half of the second, and that's going to bring up the starting pitcher, Max Pedroza. Pedroza played first base, played third base yesterday. Went 0 for 2 in Game 2, and in Game 1, went 1 for 4, lined into a double play, had an RBI single, and scored a run. He looks at a first pitch ball. 1-0 his starting count against his pitching counterpart, Holden Jackson. Man on first, the leadoff man single, that was Cody Brooks into right. No one out here in the bottom of the second. The Hardhats looking to keep this a 3-0 affair in their favor. 1-0 pitch, upstairs, 2-0. Nico Vite, the second baseman, on deck. He's been knocked down 6 spots in the order. He led off both games yesterday. 2-0 pitch to Pedroza, called strike right at his belt, and it's 2-1 now from Jackson. Two and 1 now the count. Holden Jackson fairly efficient through an inning plus. About to be his 24th pitch. 2-1. Upstairs, 3-1. Vite patiently waiting in the on-deck circle. Cody Brooks, leadoff single, got him on the base path. He takes his lead off at first. 3-1 pitch. Swung on, and it's fouled off first base side and out of play, and now the count goes full. So this is 3 batters in the last 4 that Holden Jackson's had a full count to worry about. He walked 1 and struck out 1, so this is the rubber at-bat, if you will. Check to first, not there in time. A good move, though, by Jackson. Good pop on the ball, getting it over to Jack Sorensen at first. Full count coming now to Max Pedroza. Another check to first, and it's not there in time. Nearly missed. Holden Jackson, a great decision to check off with his timing there. So now hopefully a payoff pitch coming to Pedroza. He deals, and it's fouled off. So Pedroza stays alive. Brooks takes his lead off of first. There's no one out here in the bottom of the second. Hardhats looking to keep this a 3-0 affair in their favor. Payoff pitch number 2 to Pedroza. Swung on, line to second, caught by Deming, but then he dropped the ball. And they're saying that he settled the ball after he caught it and dropped it. There was some confusion there. Deming picked it up, threw it to first, but Brooks was safe. I'm very surprised that they didn't rule that a drop, in which that would have been a very easy double play. But it looks like as if they awarded the line out, and Brooks got back to first. So we're going to score that as an L4 against Pedroza. Still a man on and 1 out. Very confusing there. The umpire was trying to make a signal of some sort in the field, and nobody could really pick up what exactly it was. So now Nico Vite steps into the batter's box, and the first pitch is low and away, ball 1. 1-0 the count here to Vitae. Again, he batted in the leadoff spot yesterday in both games. 0 for 1 with a sac fly, 0 for 3, with a sac fly RBI in Game 2. And in Game 1, went 1 for 4 with 2 strikeouts and an RBI double, as well as a run scored. Time called by Vitae before he sees his 1-0 pitch. So that was a very confusing sequence over there in the infield. Deming made the catch at second and tried to make a quick exchange to first for the double play, but he dropped the ball. And that was very quick on the exchange. 1-0 pitch, a called strike at the knees of Vitae, and it's 1-1. And again, I'm very surprised with how quick that exchange went, that they didn't call a drop on Deming, which would have then teed up probably the easiest double play in the world. But regardless, it's 1 out with 1 on. 1-1 pitch, breaking ball upstairs. 2 balls and a strike now from Jackson to Nico Vitae. Jackson just threw his 30th pitch, by the way. So he would love the double play to get out of this and keep his pitch count to about 16 for the inning. He threw 17 in the first. 2-1. And that's high and inside. 3 balls and a strike now the count. Matthew Semler, the right fielder, on deck should Vitae not hit into the double play to end the inning. Semler played right field. He caught in Game 2 yesterday as well. 3-1. Swung on, and that ball is lined into left, and Weaver on the run makes the catch. And Brooks will head back to first. Out number 2, and L7 in the book. Man still on first is Brooks with the leadoff single. That will bring us to Matthew Semler. Semler in Game 2 went 2 for 4 with a strikeout and a pair of singles, also scored a run. In Game 1, he went 1 for 2 with a triple, a run scored, a strikeout, and a pair of walks. Very dangerous hitter. First pitch, swung on, ball's hit high in the air to left center field. Connor King is on the run, shadowing to his right at the warning track. He makes the catch, and that is going to end the threat. So the leadoff single from Cody Brooks is squandered. He was stranded on first the remainder of the inning. It'll be no runs on a hit, no errors charged to the Hardhats, 1 man left on the base path. We have played 2, and the Hardhats have maintained their 3-0 lead against the Cheyenne Post-6 Sixers in their series finale, Game 3 out of 3 this weekend. We'll take a quick step aside. We'll come back with Alex Weaver to lead off the top of the third here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. We have played 2 innings, and the only runs showcased on the board belong to the Post-22 Hardhats in their series finale of 3 games this weekend against the Sixers of Cheyenne Post-6. Numbers across the board through 2 innings for the Hardhats. It's 3 runs on 4 hits with no errors on defense. And on the other side for the Sixers, it's no runs on a hit, no blemishes in the field. Mark Benetti alongside you in the broadcast booth here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV on the internet. Hardhats transition back to offense for the top of the 3rd inning, and Alex Weaver leads us off. And his first pitch is ripped foul down the third baseline. He starts off with an 0-1 count. Weaver 0 for 1 in this ball game, and this is his 2nd appearance against the starter Max Pedroza. The only strikeout he has to his credit today, and it is a backwards K in the scorebook. Caught him window shopping on a 1-2 pitch. 0-1 to Weaver is high and away, and the count evens up 1-1. Weaver, Zach Sumption, Jace Caldwell, the 3 gentlemen due up for Post-22 here in the top of the third. They have a 3-0 lead, looking to blow it open. 1-1 pitch, a breaking ball right at the belt. And Weaver now has a 1-2 count. Ball and 2 strikes the count. And Pedroza full windup deals, low and away, and the count evens 2-2. I mentioned at the start of the broadcast, Coach Clappridge wanted to avoid as many 2-strike counts as possible, and through now what are 12 appearances at the plate, 8 batters have a 2-strike count. 2-2 pitch. Swung on, and the ball is hit to short. Andren gets the easy scoop, and the throw to first is in time. 6-3 in the scorebook. That retires Alex Weaver. 1 up, 1 down for the Hardhats to start off the top of the third, and that'll bring us to the right fielder, Zach Sumption, who was responsible for starting off that 3-run rally in the top of the second. Technically, Sumption's been in the batter's box twice. His first at-bat was interrupted with Matt Hegre getting picked off on second base. It ended the inning, so he started off the second, and he led off with the single. 1 for 1 with a run scored, and his first pitch is a breaking ball right at his belt. 0-1 the count. Sumption got that on one of those 2-strike counts, so at least the Hardhats, if they've gotten in trouble 2 strikes, they've been able to do something with it and put the ball in play. 0-1 pitch. Misses low and away on a fastball, and the count evens up at 1-1. 1-1 pitch, swung on and missed. Pedroza took a ton of speed off that pitch. 1-2 now the count here for Sumption. Pedroza looking for his second K. Deals a 1-2 to Sumption. Breaking pitch, just missed. And the count evens up 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes the count. Full windup for Pedroza, deals his 2-2 to Sumption, and the breaking pitch just missed again. And the count goes full. Looked like from back here, Sumption was going to get rung up for a backwards K number 2 in the book, but that's why I'm a radio guy and not an umpire. Full windup, payoff pitch to Sumption. Missed low and away, ball 4. So Sumption forces a walk. And it comes with 1 out here in the top of the third. Hardhats with a 3-0 lead and a man on board, and that'll bring up the DH Jace Caldwell, who is 1 for 1 with an RBI double and a run scored. He took the first pitch he saw from Pedroza and torched it in the gap to left. And now we're going to have a conference on the mound between the Cheyenne coaching staff and Pedroza, as well as Finley Hastings, the catcher. Looks like there is going to be some action in the bullpen. And if that is Guy Lowe and Garrett Oswald heading to the Sixers bullpen. So a tad bit of a conference going on right now. And I mentioned earlier on our broadcast, for those Rapid City Rush fans tuning in here on ESPN Rapid City, we have a watch party today at Patty O'Neill's at the Hotel Alex Johnson in downtown Rapid City. Game 6 between the Vegas Golden Knights, probably the best story in all of sports, not even just the National Hockey League, taking on the San Jose Sharks. Vegas has a 3-2 series lead, so if Vegas wins this game tonight, then in their inaugural season in the National Hockey League, they will go to the Western Conference Final. And they will take on the winner of the Winnipeg Jets and Nashville Predators series. The Jets blew one open in Nashville last night for a 6-2 victory over the Predators, so now they have a 3-2 series lead heading back to Winnipeg. Vegas and San Jose are playing in San Jose tonight. So it looks as if Pedroza is leaving the game. I don't know if he's injured or whatnot. I think I may have overheard that from my Sixers broadcast counterpart. But Pedroza is leaving. A couple of warm-up tosses for the incoming reliever. And Pedroza's afternoon/morning has come to an end. And he will take over. So a conference for the new pitcher coming out for the Sixers, trying to catch a license plate. I want to say that's Garrett Oswald. I could be wrong. We're in the top of the third inning. The Hardhats have 1 on with 1 out. And I believe that is the case. That is Garrett Oswald, the lefty, coming out. So he will take over for Pedroza, who went 2 1/3 innings. He allowed 3 runs that were earned on 4 hits, struck out 1 in the affair, and walked 3. So Garrett Oswald will take over. He is a very tall left-handed pitcher. Pedroza ended up throwing 60 pitches, only 11 in this inning. 16 in the first inning. He got out of that one fairly efficiently, didn't allow a run on 0 hits and 1 walk. Got his lone strikeout in that inning. But a 33-pitch second inning was where the Hardhats broke open with 4 consecutive hits to start the inning, and the first 3 gentlemen that reached base came around to score. Hardhats ended up stranding 2 men in scoring position to end the inning, nearly batted through the lineup. And if I'm hearing correctly, this is an injury that prevented Pedroza from continuing, so he has left the ballgame. And it also means that Garrett Oswald will take over for him in the batting order as well. So Pedroza finished 0 for 1 at the plate with a line out to second and finished with 2 1/3 innings work under his belt. Oswald looking like, as I mentioned, a very tall lefty. He's got a big downward motion on his pitch. We'll see how that plays into his delivery to the Hardhats. He will start off against Jace Caldwell. And I mentioned Caldwell. He took the first pitch he got from Pedroza and torched it into left center for a double. It knocked in Zach Sumption all the way from first. A 1-out single put him, a leadoff single put him on the base path. That was back at the top of the second. We're in the top of the third now, and a leadoff walk has put Sumption on the base path. 3-0, the Hardhats lead. 1 on, 1 out. And Jace Caldwell, the DH, 1 for 1 with that RBI double, will step in against Garrett Oswald, the lefty. So the infield's back to their respective positions. The warm-up pitches are nearly done. Oswald, one last throw, I believe. And it skips to the backstop, and it looks like we are good to go. Third baseman R.J. Prince, some last words of encouragement and a fist bump. One more pitch for good measure for Oswald. And now Caldwell's going to step into the box. Home plate umpire is ready to go. Hardhats looking to blow this one open here in the top of the third. A 3-0 lead to their credit. Caldwell, an RBI double back in the top of the second, just an inning ago. Oswald will look to first, leading off the bag is Sumption. First pitch is swung on, and it's hit to second. Stops made by Vite. To second for 1, to first for 2, and it skips away from Brooks. And Caldwell's going to hang on at first. So Sumption, the lead runner, is retired. 4-6. So it is a 4-6 fielder's choice that allows Caldwell to take the base path. So 2 outs now for the Hardhats and a man on first here in the top of the third, and that's going to bring up Jack Sorensen, who had an RBI single to his credit in the top of the second. He was the third of 4 consecutive hits, and his first pitch from Oswald is a fastball that catches the inside part of the plate for strike 1. 0-1 the count to the Hardhats first baseman, looking to keep the offense rolling here. From the stretch, Oswald, the 0-1, swung on and missed. And quickly Sorensen is in an 0-2 hole. Connor King on deck if Sorensen keeps things going. If not, Jackson Hesford, the 9-hole hitter, will lead off for Cheyenne in the bottom half of this third. 0-2 pitch from Oswald, swung on and fought off foul. It is first base side in play, but it drops, despite the best efforts of Cody Brooks. And it's still an 0-2 count here for Sorensen. No hits for the Hardhats in this inning, just a walk and a fielder's choice. And a ground out to short. 0-2 the count to Sorensen. Oswald looking to get out of the inning. And the pitch. Runner goes. Swung on, hit right back up the middle. Vitae can't field the ball. It skips off his glove and rolls into center field. And Braxton Innes is going to field it. And Caldwell, who is going into second to advance, will take advantage of third. So an E4, I believe, is going to be charged on that sequence as Caldwell is now on third and Jack Sorensen will take first. And they are ruling that an E4 against Nico Vitae. So a 2-out error keeps things going. And Connor King now comes to the Hardhats batter's box, the lefty-on-lefty matchup, and he has men on the corners to work with and 2 outs here in the top of the third. Sorensen 90 feet to his right on first, and Caldwell 90 feet to his left on third. Post 22, a 3-0 lead, and if King can keep the inning going with a base hit, then that lead can be more. First pitch from Oswald. Low and away, ball 1. The only lefty-on-lefty matchup that we will see from the Hardhats batting order, now with Oswald the lefty on the mound. Oswald will throw from the stretch, a quick peek to first, and the 1-0. Fastball caught the outside part of the plate at King's knees. 1-1 now the count to the Hardhats center fielder. Ryan Schmidt's on deck if King keeps the inning going. If not, we'll go to the bottom of the third, and 9-hole hitter Jackson Hesford will have his first plate appearance for the Sixers. 1-1 pitch, swung on, and it's hit to second. Vitae gets the scoop, the throw to second in time for the force, and that's going to do it. The 4-6 fielder's choice ends the Hardhats threat and ends the top half of the third. No runs, no hits, 1 error charged to Cheyenne on defense. 2 men left on the base path. And at the end of 2.5 innings of play, the Hardhats still have a 3-0 lead to protect as they transition to defense for the bottom half of the third inning. We'll be right back in just a few moments with Jackson Hesford set to lead off for the Sixers in his first plate appearance of the ballgame here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. Holden Jackson steps back onto the mound now for the Hardhats as Post 22 takes their respective defensive positions. Hardhats have a 3-0 lead that they are looking to protect against the Cheyenne Post 6 Sixers. Looking for the sweep of the weekend series. The Hardhats won both games of the doubleheader yesterday. 7-6 in extra innings. 8 total, to be particular. And 4-3 in regulation for their first regulation win of the season. And that was another game in which the Hardhats trailed late, came back to tie, and a late error helped them out. Jackson's first batter is Jackson Hesford, and his first pitch to Hesford is low in the dirt for ball 1. Hesford, the left-handed hitting left fielder, his first plate appearance of this ball game. 9-1-2 due up for the Sixers, bottom of the third. Next pitch is swung on, and it's check swung to third. Hegre gets the scoop, and his throw to first is in time. So a check swing ground out for Jackson Hesford. 1 up, 1 down for the Hardhats on defense. Brings us back to the top of the order to the left-handed hitting center fielder, Braxton Innes. Innes is 0 for 1, a fly out to left, as Alex Weaver got underneath that one. I think Hesford would want that at-bat back. It was a check swing. He was indecisive when he made his motion, and it just led to the ground out to third. I don't know where these balls came from right field. Sumption just noticed them and all of a sudden threw them in to head coach Kelvin Torvey of the Post 22 Hardhats. So the delay is done. Innes steps into the batter's box, and Jackson's ready to go for his second matchup against the left-handed hitting Sixers center fielder. First pitch misses at his letters. 1-0 the count. Innes has an empty base path to work with and 1 out here in the bottom of the third. Hardhats have a 3-0 lead over the Sixers. Full windup for Jackson. 1-0 to Innes. upstairs. 2 balls, no strikes. Ryan Andren, the shortstop, on deck. He was retired with a fly out to center field. Jackson, no strikeouts in this appearance. Yet, at least. Only 1 free pass, and that was a walk back in the top of the first. 2-0 is swung on, hit high in the air, foul territory, third base side. Hegre is looking for it, and the ball sails just shy of the fence. I think he may have lost it in the atmosphere, looking up at the sun, which is now starting to shine a little bit here. So ball is foul. 2-1 now the count to Innes. Right-handed Jackson to throw to the left-handed center fielder. 2 balls and a strike the count. Full windup for Jackson, and the 2-1 to Innes. Swung on, and it's fouled off to the left of my positioning in the press box, and the count holds full. The count evens at 2-2. I have to learn to track the right box in the scorebook as to not confuse listeners. 2 balls, 2 strikes to count. Jackson looking for his first punch out. 2-2 to Innes. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Got him with the changeup. And that is out number 2 of the inning and Jackson's first K in the scorebook. 2 up, 2 down will bring us to Ryan Andren, the Sixers shortstop. 40 pitches for Jackson. He had 33 through the first 2 innings. So he has only thrown 7 in this inning and has 2 outs under his belt. Efficiency, the key for Hardhats pitching. Full windup for Jackson, and his first pitch to Andren is swung on, and that ball is ripped into right center field, and that's going to drop for a base hit. King comes in from center to field it. Andren thought about taking second, but King was quick to field and get it into his relay man and Deming. So it's a 2-out single on the first pitch that Andren sees. Cheyenne has a man on board, and that will bring us to the catcher, Finley Hastings. Andren now 1 for 2 in the ball game. He flew out to center field and now just got that 2-out single. Hastings comes in with a walk under his belt, still looking for his first official at-bat of the ballgame. Full stretch from Jackson, and he throws a ball right at the letters of Hastings. 1-0 the count. If Hastings perpetuates the inning, R.J. Prince is on deck. If not, 8, 9, and 1 are due up for the Hardhats in the top of the 4th. 1-0. Fastball caught the outside part of the plate for a strike 1 at Hastings' knees. Ball at a strike now the count to the backstopper of the Sixers. He has a man on first. That's Ryan Andren with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 3rd. 3-0 the Hardhats lead. They're looking to keep it that way. 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball missed low and away, and Finley Hastings did not chase it. 2-1 now the count. R.J. Prince on deck. Next pitch is high for ball 3. 3-1 the count. It seems that I have another documentation issue in my scorebook. R.J. Prince on deck was the first of what are now 2 Holden Jackson strikeouts. 3 balls and a strike now to Hastings. And the pitch. Swung on, and that ball is hit high in the air to left field. Alex Weaver tracks it, is underneath it, and makes the catch. That will end the threat in the bottom here in the 3rd. So, no runs, a hit, no errors charged to the Hardhats. 1 man left on the base path on first. And at the end of 3 full innings of play of our 7 of regulation, the Hardhats still maintain their 3-0 lead. Hardhats will transition to offense for the top of the 4th inning, and Ryan Schmidt, the catcher, will lead us off. We'll be right back in just a few moments here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. Post 22 Hardhats Baseball on ESPN Rapid City is presented by Courtesy Subaru, by Shields, Qdoba Mexican Eats, Renewal by Anderson, Sicky's Garage Burgers and Brews, the Mustang Disaster Cleanup, and the Man Salon. We have played 3 of 7 regulation innings, and the Hardhats still maintain their 3-0 lead over the Cheyenne Post 6 Sixers. Finale of their 3-game weekend series. Numbers across the board for the Hardhats. It's 3 runs on 4 hits with no errors on defense. And on the other side of the scoreboard for the Sixers, it's no runs on a pair of hits with 1 blemish in the field. Mark Benetti alongside you in the broadcast booth here on ESPN Rapid City. The official radio home of Post 22 Hardhats baseball on 105.7 FM, 1340 AM. We're also streamed live on the internet with video streaming on Hardhats-TV. 8-9-1 are due up for the Hardhats, and that will start off with Ryan Schmidt, the backstopper for Post 22. He will take on Garrett Oswald for the first time. Oswald came in for Max Pedroza, who was taken out of the game due to an injury on the mound. Oswald, the tall lefty, looks into the Hardhats catcher, and his first pitch is fouled off. 0-1 the count to Ryan Schmidt. He's 0 for 1 with an RBI ground out. He had 2 men in scoring position, hit the ball to short, and they nailed him going to first. No balls and a strike the count here to Schmidt. Oswald, a full windup, and he deals another pitch that's fouled off, this time to the backstop. And it's 0-2 now to Schmidt. 0-2 the count. Oswald looking for his first strikeout in relief to start off the top of the 4th. He deals, and he caught him looking. Strike 3. So Schmidt retired on a backwards K. That is the first strikeout for Oswald in relief. 1 up, 1 down for the Hardhats on offense here in the top of the 4th, and that will bring us to Carter Deming, the Hardhats second baseman. Hardhats have a 3-0 lead. No one on the base path for Deming, and 1 out here at the top of the 4th. Deming walked in his first plate appearance back in the top of the 2nd, was stranded in scoring position to end the inning. First pitch is upstairs, ball 1. Deming, a versatile infielder. He started off a lot of last year at third. He was a utility third baseman to back up Justin Kramer, primarily played at second base, and switched off with Walker Paz in that capacity. Here comes his 1-0. Swung on, and the ball is hit to third, and it gets right by Prince and into left for a base hit. And Carter Deming gets his first hit of the season. And it's a 1-out single here in the top of the 4th. So Deming stands on first, and that will bring up Cooper Bowman back at the top of the Hardhats order. Bowman 0 for 2. Fly out to right and a pop out to short. His pop out to short came with the man in scoring position. He drops bunt and elevates it to third. But the ball rolls out of play. And he starts behind 0-1. Bowman tried to catch everybody asleep at the switch there, and he did. If the ball didn't spin as much, he would have been on with a bunt single. Let's see if he shows bunt again. Deming will take his lead off at first. 1-out single put him there. And the 0-1. Bowman didn't show bunt that time, and the count evens up at a ball and a strike. Deming takes his lead off at first. Oswald looks at first, and the 1-1 to the Hardhat shortstop is low and away. 2 balls and a strike. (3-0) the Hardhats lead on 5 hits. Carter Deming has 1 of them. Most recently, that's his first hit of the season. He's on first. 2-1 to Bowman. High and away. 3 balls and a strike. Matt Hegre, the third baseman, on deck should the double play not end the inning. Hegre 0 for 1 with a walk and a fly out to center. The 3-1 pitch from Oswald. Swung on, and the ball is chopped foul, third base side, and the count goes full. That's 12 two-strike counts now for Hardhats batters in this game. We'll have to wait for the payoff pitch. Check to first isn't there, so Deming's back safely. First payoff pitch for Oswald in relief. And the payoff pitch. Swung on, and the ball is chopped towards the right side of the infield. Vite the stop at second. He'll get the out at first as Deming advances to second. So a 4-3 fielder's choice will retire Bowman. 2 down, and that brings us to Matt Hegre with a man on second. Here in the top of the fourth, the Hardhats with a 3-0 lead and a chance to add a 4th run. And here's the first pitch. That's low and away, ball 1. Oswald checks the runner at second, and the 1-0 misses low, and it's 2-0. Deming's on second. He singled to get on the base path, was advanced in the fielder's choice for Bowman. 2 outs here in the top of the fourth, a 3-0 Hardhats lead. 2-0 to Hegre's upstairs. 3 balls, no strikes. Quick conference between Hastings and Oswald before Hegre takes his 3-0 pitch. If Hegre keeps the inning going, whether he is issued a free pass on this next pitch or he earns his way on the base path, Alex Weaver is on deck, and he is 0 for 2. With a strikeout and a ground out to short. 3-0 the count. Oswald is done with his conference with his battery mate. And the pitch is outside, ball 4. So a 4-pitch walk issued to Hegre for the second time in this ballgame. He is on board with 2 outs. Men on first and second. Alex Weaver looking for his first hit of the ballgame to keep this inning going. Hardhats have a 3-0 lead over the Sixers. They are hoping for a 3-game sweep on this first road trip of the season. First pitch to Weaver misses low for ball 1. 1-0 the count. Hastings with a big block. Deming took a huge lead off his second, but he didn't take third. Ball and no strikes to count to the Hardhats left fielder with Zach Sumption in the cleanup position on deck. 1-0. Swung on, and the ball's hit to short. Andrin gets the stop. Tossed to second. To Vite is in time, and that's going to end it. 6-4 fielder's choice ends the inning, and the Hardhats are unable to add a 4th run to their tally. No runs on a hit. Carter Deming's first of the year. No errors charged to Cheyenne. 2 men left on the base path. And at the end of 3.5 innings, officially half the ball game has concluded. The Hardhats are looking to protect their 3-0 lead. We'll transition to the bottom of the fourth with the heart of the Sixers order due up. You're listening to Post 22 Hardhats Baseball on ESPN Rapid City and watching on Hardhats-TV. Holden Jackson in 3 outs, should he get the job done, will be the first starter this year for the Hardhats to go past 4 innings in a start. He's been quite efficient through 3 innings, 46 pitches, 17 in the first, 16 in the second, and 13 in the third. So good for Holden to showcase his efficiency. He'll take on the heart of the order here for the Sixers, starting off with R.J. Prince, the third baseman. And first pitch from Jackson misses for ball 1. Prince is 0 for 1 in the ballgame. He is the first of a pair of Holden Jackson strikeouts in this start. Bottom of the fourth just started. And the 1-0 misses low and away, and it's 2-0 to Prince. Hardhats have a 3-0 lead at halftime of this ballgame, if you will. 3.5 innings played. For the Hardhats, 3 runs on 5 hits, no errors on defense. And for the Sixers, no runs on 2 hits with a blemish in the field. 2-0 from Jackson. Swung on, and that ball is pulled to left field side, but it is foul. And it's 2-1. 2 balls and a strike to count to Prince. Followed by left-handed hitting first baseman Cody Brooks. And by either Garrett Oswald or a pinch hitter. The 2-1 is a called strike on the outside corner of the plate, and the count evens up at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes the count. Jackson looking for a trifecta of Ks. That would give him 2 head-to-head against Prince. Jackson takes a sigh. Full windup, 2-2. Skips low, and the count goes full. Cody Brooks, the left-handed hitting first baseman's on deck. He has one of the only 2 hits that the Sixers have in this ballgame. Payoff pitch coming up from Jackson. And he deals. Swung on, and the ball is pushed to right field. Is it in play? It drops in front of Sumption for a base hit. So a bloop single to right for R.J. Prince to start off the bottom half of the 4th. Leadoff single for the Sixers' third baseman, and that's going to bring us to Cody Brooks, the left-handed hitting first baseman with the leadoff man on and no one out here in the bottom of the 4th. Hardhats are trying to keep this a 3-0 affair in their favor. All three runs, came at the top of the 2nd inning on 4 of the game's 5 hits for Post 22. First pitch to Brooks buzzes the tower high and inside, and it's 1-0. Ball and no strikes to count, and the pitch caught the inside part of the plate. Fastball, a strike. 1-1 now the count to Brooks. Brooks 1 for 1. He had the first of 3 Sixers hits now. That came back in the bottom of the 2nd, but his leadoff single was all for naught. 3 gentlemen after him in a row got retired. Jackson, a check to first, nearly sailed over Sorensen's head. And this is a moment when you're very grateful that Jack Sorensen is as tall as he is to catch errant throws like that at first. 1-1 pitch to Brooks. Low and inside, 2 balls and a strike. Looking at the on-deck circle, it looks like Aiden Colgan will pinch hit for Oswald. So Oswald's day will be done on the mound. Next pitch is swung on, and it's hit into right field for a base hit. Sumption comes into field, and only taking advantage of 1 base is Prince. So back-to-back singles to start off the bottom half of the 4th inning, and that will give us Aiden Colgan, the pinch hitter, with men on first and second and no one out. Colgan making his first appearance in this weekend series against the Hardhats. Holden Jackson waits for the umpire to finish documenting this substitution. Jackson now on 56 pitches. He has thrown 10 in this inning and has yet to register an out. Colgan, a right-hander, and he shows some size. Jackson looks into Schmidt for his sign. He has 2 men on the base path to worry about on first and second. Colgan is showing bunt. Sorensen comes in to charge, and Colgan pulled back as the ball skips. 1-0 his count. Sorensen ready to come in to field the bunt, to try and get the lead runner at third. Ball and no strikes the count. And Colgan shows bunt. Sorensen comes in, but again, the pitch is outside, 2-0. Jackson he understands now. He's seen two showings of bunt, Sometimes words are hard. He has seen 2 showings of bunt. Drop the ball in there. Let Sorensen come in and crash, get the job done. Next pitch is swung on, and it's bunted foul, first base side. 2-1 now the count. Third base side. So, yeah, you could obviously do that as well. Colgan needs to get that bunt down, get on top of that ball. Sorensen parallel with a mound, and again, he's crashed in every time. So If I'm Jackson, do that exact same thing. Just drop that ball in there. You understand that bunt is coming. Drop the ball in there, let the bunt happen, and let Sorensen and or the infield defense do their job. Next pitch is bunted down the third base side. Jackson tries to chase at it. He can. Hegre, the throw to first is not in time. And it's a bunt single for Aiden Colgan. And he executed that to perfection. Bases loaded, no one out in the bottom of the fourth here. Hardhats have a 3-0 lead, and now that is in jeopardy, and I believe the outing of Holden Jackson might be done. So Jackson only goes 3+ innings. And it looks like Zach Weitzel, I believe, is going to come on out and take over on the mound. So, folks, we're going to take a quick breather. We'll be back in 30 seconds and recap Holden Jackson's performance here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. Well, Holden Jackson's morning/afternoon comes to an end after 3+ innings of work. He allowed no runs, but he is responsible for every base runner that is surrounding the infield on first, second, and third. Struck out a pair, walked one, and now he gives way to Zach Weitzel making his Hardhats debut. Jackson, by the way, finished with 59 pitches. So he threw 13 in this inning prior to his removal from the ballgame. And now Weitzel will take over again, his Hardhats debut, and boy, is he in a tough spot. The Hardhats 3-0 lead is in jeopardy now, with every base occupied and still no one out. So Weitzel needs to showcase a calm demeanor here. And this is a moment where he can prove that he belongs with his varsity club. There is a pinch runner, by the way, on first. That is Tyson Bradley. My goodness, my sixth position in the scorebook is all kinds of jacked up. Here comes Nico Vite, bases loaded, no one out bottom of the fourth, and his first pitch is swung on and missed. 0-1 the count to Vite. 0-for-1 in this ball game. He lined out to left back in the bottom of the third. Hardhats a 3-0 lead. No one out here in the bottom of the fourth, and the bases are loaded. So their lead is in jeopardy right now. From the stretch, Weitzel, the tall righty, deals, and the ball's fouled off. Behind home and over our press box, and quickly, Weitzel's in the driver's seat. No balls and 2 strikes. Weitzel looking for a colossal first strikeout in relief. 0-2. Just missed. That must have been by an inch, if that. Ball and 2 strikes to count now from Weitzel to Vite. Righty on righty. Every base occupied, no one out here in the bottom of the fourth, and the Hardhats 3-0 lead is in danger. Next pitch is fouled off, and credit Vite, he stays alive. Matt Semler, the right fielder, is on deck. Unless by the grace of the baseball gods, a triple play is executed. Don't think I've ever seen in my 4 years the Hardhats execute a triple play. Can't say that I have. Ball and 2 strikes to count now from Weitzel to Vite. And the pitch swung on and fouled off again. And that is down the right field line. Lather, rinse, repeat. Ball and 2 strikes to count. Weitzel stares into Schmidt, gets his sign. And once again, a 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball just missed again. And the count evens at 2-2. I thought he had him dead to rights with a backwards K, but the umpire had a different view. 2 balls, 2 strikes the count. Weitzel still looking for that big strikeout. 2-2 pitch is upstairs, ball 3. And now Weitzel, in 1 pitch, can either end this at bat, suffer some massive damage, or surrender at minimum a run. Big payoff pitch coming up from Weitzel, and he deals. Swung on and missed, strike 3. A big first strikeout for Weitzel as a hard hat, and it comes with the bases loaded, no one out. You can change that to bases loaded and 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th, and Matthew Semler, the right fielder, comes up. Semler in the ballgame, 0 for 1 with a fly out to center. Now the double play in effect to end this jam. And now here comes Weitzel on the rubber. He will pitch from the stretch. Bases are loaded, now 1 out here, bottom of the 4th. Hardhats with a 3-0 lead. First pitch, misses low. 1-0 the count to Semler. Jackson Hesford, the left-handed hitting left fielder, is on deck if the double play doesn't end the inning. Bases are loaded. Hardhats lead in jeopardy. 1-0 from Weitzel. Swung on and fouled off to the back fence behind home. And the count evens at 1-1. Ball and a strike the count. Weitzel in his Hardhats debut just came up with a colossal first career strikeout. 1-1. Swung on, ball's hit high in the air to the left side of the infield. Infield fly rule's in effect, and Bowman tries to locate the ball, but it's all moot. Infield fly rule was in effect, and so the batter's out. So infield fly rule, a big second out for the Hardhats. Weitzel desperately trying to get out of this jam. The bases are still loaded, and that's going to bring up Jackson Hesford. So 2 outs, and the lefty Hesford comes to the batter's box. Weitzel has retired both batters he has seen. He retires 1 more. He preserves this shutout. First pitch, misses low. Schmidt comes up with the block. It's 1-0. Hesford 0 for 1 in the ball game. He grounded out to third in his first at-bat. A check swing ground out. Ball and no strikes the count. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th. 1-0, swung on, and it's chopped to third. Hegre gets the stop, and the throw to first is in time. No, it's not. It's off track. And 2 runs are going to come in. Everybody froze, and then all of a sudden, Jack Sorensen chased the ball. It's off track. And the E5 keeps the inning going and knocks in 2 runs. And taking advantage of 2 bases was Hesford. And so now Tyson Bradley's on third. Jackson Hesford's on second. Everybody froze, and then all of a sudden, Jack Sorensen goes sprinting to foul territory. And Hegre, all he needed to do was touch third. First pitch, low and away, ball 1. As we go back to the top of the order to Braxton Innes. Instead, Hegre wanted to go for the throw to first, and it was off track. That was an E5 on the throw. And that is a 2-run error. That is costly. Here comes the 1-0 to Innes, and it's fouled off, and the count evens up at a ball and a strike. So it's men on second and third for Innes and 2 outs. And all Hegre needed to do after he stopped the ball, I thought he had time to make a play on the bag. And he must have judged differently if he went and ended up throwing to first. Ball and a strike to count here to Innes. And the pitch, a called strike on the outside corner. Zach Weitzel in the driver's seat on the mound, 1-2. Ball and 2 strikes to count. Weitzel looking for a second strikeout to end this inning. And from the stretch, deals a 1-2, and that's high and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes now the count. Ryan Andren, the shortstop, is on deck if we keep the inning going. If not, heart of the order is due up for the Hardhats in the top of the 5th. They had a 3-0 lead entering the bottom of the 4th, got in a bases-loaded jam. Weitzel in relief now for Jackson. Retired his first 2 batters, and then a costly error on Hegre at third. Has now knocked that into a 1-run lead. Ball's hit to short. Bowman the stop. Throw to first low, but it's in time. And that will end the threat. But the damage has been dealt. It was 2 runs scored for the Sixers on 3 hits, 1 error charged to the Hardhats. 2 men left on the base path in scoring position. We have played 4 innings. The Hardhats still have the lead, but now it has shrunk to 1 run. It is 3-2. We'll be right back with the top half of the 5th inning in the heart of the Hardhats order in just a few moments here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. In baseball continues as we return for the top half of the 5th inning. My scorebook at the 6 hole looks ridiculous, and it's going to change again. Coming in from center field to pitch now is Braxton Innes. Innes, the right-handed pitcher, will take over. Storm Nelson, who played in both games yesterday in the doubleheader, will patrol center field now, and he will bat in the 6th position. So Nelson takes over at center field. He will bat in the 6th position. And Innes will move from center field to the mound. We have played 4 innings, and the Hardhats' 3-0 lead is now 3-2. 2 runs scored on 3 hits, and 1 error charged to the Hardhats. Boy, was that a costly one. Garrett Oswald, by the way, finished in relief for the Sixers with 2/3 of an inning under his belt. Didn't allow any runs, allowed a hit. And he ended up striking out 1 and walked 1. 25 pitches. So Innes takes over. He will take on the heart of the order for Post 22. Through 4 innings of play, numbers across the board for the Hardhats. It's 3 runs on 5 hits with 1 error. And for the Sixers, it's 2 runs on 5 hits with 1 error as well. First pitch to Assumption, a swing and a miss. And so he starts off behind 0-1. Assumption on the ball game is 1 for 1. Single and a walk, and he looks at ball 1 low and away. 1-1 now the count. Mark Benetti alongside you on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV for the finale of this 3-game weekend series between the Cheyenne Post 6 Sixers and your Post 22 Hardhats. Assumption's next pitch hit high in the air, right field side, and that goes out of play. And the count's now a ball and 2 strikes for Assumption. 1-2 now his count. Assumption followed by Jace Caldwell, the DH, and by Jack Sorensen, the first baseman. Here comes the 1-2. Breaking pitch upstairs. It's 2-2. Caldwell on deck, responsible for an RBI double, so he's had a great weekend, honestly. 2-2 pitch, high and away, and the count goes full, so credit Assumption's patience for forcing a payoff pitch. And the payoff from Innes. Swung on, ball is hit high in the air. That is in foul territory and over our press box. Payoff number 2 coming up to Zach Assumption, leading off the top half of the 5th inning. Hardhats have a 3-2 lead now over the Sixers. A costly error on third baseman Matt Hegre knocked in 2 runs with 2 outs and the bases loaded back in the bottom of the 4th. Payoff number 2, fought off foul to the backstop, and we'll keep going. Zach Sumption in a battle right now, a 7-pitch at bat for Braxton Innes, who is the 3rd pitcher that the Sixers have used in this game. Full windup for Innes, payoff number 3, and that's low for ball 4. So back-to-back walks issued in back-to-back at-bats for Zach Sumption. He has reached base safely all 3 times he has been in the batter's box. He leads off with a walk. That'll bring up Jace Caldwell, the DH. Leadoff man is on with no one out here in the top of the 5th. The Hardhats looking to reestablish a multi-run lead. It currently stands at 3-2. Innes from the stretch. First pitch is way outside. 1-0 to Caldwell. 1 for 2 on the ball game, an RBI double, a run scored, and a 4-6 fielder's choice in which he was safe on the base path. Ball and no strikes to count to the Hardhats DH. And Innes deals the 1-0. Swung on, and that ball's hit high in the air to left center field. Storm Nelson from center tries to catch it on the run, and he makes the catch. A brilliant defensive play by Storm Nelson, and retreating all the way back to first is Zach Sumption. Storm Nelson has some wheels, my goodness. Jace Caldwell hit that ball in the exact same spot that he got his RBI double in, and this time was denied. So 1 out. Sumption still on first. Jack Sorensen, the first baseman, comes up. He's reached base both times as well with an RBI single, and he reached on an error his last at-bat. First pitch is swung on and missed, and he's behind 0-1. Wow, that was a great defensive play to deny Caldwell of potentially another extra base hit. 0-1 from Innes. Called strike at the knees of Sorensen on a fastball. 0-2. Another 2-strike count. To my count, and this is just a speed count, I believe that's 4 game. Hardhats. 0-2 pitch from Innes. Swung on, and the ball is chopped to third. Prince charges in, gets the stop. Time. And so it is men on first and second with 1 out. So Sumption now in scoring position. Sorensen now on first. That'll bring up the left-handed hitting center fielder Connor King, who is 1 for 2. Double. And he grounded into a fielder's choice to end the top half of the 3rd. Men on first and second here for King. First pitch from Innes is low and away. Ball 1. King was really hard on himself for yesterday's performance, and that's just the compete level that he brings to the table. So let's see what he does here against Innes with a man in scoring position. Innes takes his time, a triple check to second, and now time's called just before Innes gets the throw in. Ball and no strikes is count. We have yet to see that second pitch. Sorensen leads off of first. Sumption leads off of second. Innes, a triple take to second, deals his 1-0 to King, and that misses low and away on a fastball. 2-0 now the count to the Hardhats left-handed hitting center fielder. Hardhats are back in action on Tuesday night in Spearfish, still on the road. That game slated for May 8th. Next pitch, swung on and missed. And King now has a 2-1 count to work with. Men on first and second. That game is a single 9-inning game, and it is slated to start at 6 o'clock. We will have the coverage at roughly 5:50 on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. 2-1 now to King. Called strike, a breaking ball to the inside part of the plate, and the count evens up at 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 men on, only 1 out here in the top of the 5th. The Hardhats with a narrow 3-2 lead. Innes looking for his first punch out in relief. 2-2, swung on, and it's ripped right to short. Andren the stop to second to 1, to first for 2, and the ball was not snagged by Brooks. And so it is another 6-4, fielder's choice. Could have been a double play. Instead, it is a 6-4 in the scorebook. 2 outs, though, as Jack Sorensen is retired heading to second. Zach Sumption, though, advances to third. So it's men on the corners and 2 outs. And Ryan Schmidt, the catcher, now comes up with a chance to potentially knock in a 4th run for the Hardhats. And given the sequence of events from the last inning, the Hardhats could definitely use some of that breathing room against the Sixers. First pitch to Schmidt. Swung on, and it's fouled. 0-1 the count. Schmidt 0 for 2, an RBI ground out in the top of the second. And a backwards K in the book, the only strikeout issued by Garrett Oswald in relief. Schmidt steps back in with a man 90 feet to his right, Connor King, and a man 90 feet to his left in Zach Sumption. 0-1 to Schmidt. Check swing, and he went. 0-2. Schmidt, halfway through his swinging motion, decided to try and bail out of it. He just couldn't hold the bat up. And that's just a lack of indecision there is going to come back to kill you. You got to hope it doesn't lead to a strikeout here. No balls, 2 strikes. Innes trying to get out of the jam. And he deals. Just missed outside a breaking pitch, and it's 1-2. If Schmidt somehow keeps the inning going, then Carter Deming's on deck, fresh off of his first hit of the season. 1 for 1 with a single and a walk. If not, 2, 3, and 4 due up for the Sixers in the bottom of the 5th. 1-2, high and away, and the count evens up. 2-2, looking for the sweep against the Sixers. 2-2 for Innes. Caught him looking, strike 3 with a pitch right at his belt. And the first strikeout of the game for Innes in relief ends a threat in the top half of the 5th. No runs scored for the Hardhats on a hit with no errors charged to Cheyenne. Men left on the corners. And at the end of 4.5 innings of play, the Hardhats still have a 3-2 lead, but missed out on an opportunity to try and expand that advantage. We'll transition to the bottom half of the 5th with 2, 3, and 4 due up for the Sixers in just a few moments here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. For those Rush fans tuning in to today's broadcast, don't forget that we do have a watch party for the Stanley Cup playoffs today at 5:30 at the Hotel Alex Johnson and Patty O'Neill's. Vegas Golden Knights, probably the best story in all of sports this year, taking on the San Jose Sharks in Game 6 of their Western Conference semifinal series. If Vegas wins, then in their inaugural NHL season, they will move on to the Western Conference Final. 4.5 innings in the books. The Hardhats still have a 3-2 lead intact over the Cheyenne post-6 Sixers. Zach Weitzel back on the mound in relief of Holden Jackson. Weitzel will take on Ryan Andren, Finley Hastings, and R.J. Prince in that order. Full windup, and the pitch from Weitzel is a fastball that missed low and away. 1-0 the count here to Andren, who is 1 for 2 on the ballgame. Andren singled in his most recent at-bat. Didn't make it past first base, though. Flew out to center field back in the bottom of the 1st. 1-0 from Weitzel. And the fastball missed low. 2-0 now the count. 20 pitches now for Weitzel in relief. Almost got out of a bases-loaded jam in the bottom of the 4th, but a costly throwing error from Matt Heggery at third allowed 2 runs to come in. Next pitch is low and away for ball 3. 3-0, the count here to Ryan Andren. Weitzel looking to avoid a 4-pitch free pass. And the 3-0. Called strike at the knees. And Andren's going to have to hang on if he wants that free pass. 3 balls and a strike now the count. Weitzel with the strikeout already in relief. Full windup and the 3-1. Called strike at the knees, and the count goes full. So good on Andren to battle back. Big payoff to lead off the bottom half of the 5th for Weitzel. And the pitch is low and away, ball 4. So a leadoff walk issued to Andren to start off the bottom of the 5th. Finley Hastings, the catcher, now comes to the batter's box. Hastings has a man on first and no one out here in the bottom of the 5th. He represents the go-ahead run. Andren on first, the tying run. And Weitzel's first pitch from the stretch misses low and away for ball 1. Hastings on the ball game is 0 for 1. He walked in his first at-bat on a full count. The only walk issued by Holden Jackson. He flew out to center field the last time he was up. Pitch is at his letters, and it's 2-0. R.J. Prince, the third baseman, on deck, and that will round out 3 gentlemen that are due up. Andren on with the leadoff walk, and Finley Hastings currently in a 2-0 count. Weitzel a quick peek to first, and from the stretch will deal the 2-0. Swung on and missed. Looked like Weitzel may have taken something off of that pitch up high, and it's 2-1. Post 22 at one point had a 3-0 lead. A 2-run error in the bottom of the 4th cost them in that respect. 3-2 now their advantage. 2-1, swung on and fought off foul by Hastings. And now 2-2 the count. The tying run is on. That is Ryan Andren. Leadoff walk got him there. Finley Hastings now in a 2-2 battle with Zach Weitzel in relief. And Weitzel deals. Swung on, and the ball's hit to third. Hegre with a big stop. Throw to second for 1. It's off track, and it's off the glove of Carter Deming. Another costly error as the ball goes into right field, and taking advantage of third now is Andren. Hegre made a fantastic stop, but another error. And Hastings is safe on first, and Andren advances all the way to scoring position, and now the tying run is 90 feet away from home. That is an unfortunate sequence of events. How different that could have been. Again, Hegre, a fantastic stop to snag the ball, but his throw to Deming was too high. So an E5. And now, first pitch comes to R.J. Prince, the cleanup hitter, and he looks at one high and inside for ball 1. Prince is 1 for 2. He singled, scored, and struck out. Weitzel from the stretch with men on the corners and no one out. And did it hit him? No, it didn't. It goes by the batter, and coming in to score is Andren, and we're tied at 3 on the wild pitch. And now on second is Finley Hastings. I didn't know necessarily if that had hit Hastings or not. Or excuse me, Prince. It looked like it didn't. And Hastings comes in to second, and Andren comes in to score, and now we are tied at 3. 2-0 count now to Prince. And the next pitch is up high, 3-0. So now it's a man on second, still no one out. The go-ahead run in scoring position here in the bottom of the 5th. And here's a 3-0, and that's ball 4. A 4-pitch walk. Second one of the inning, and Coach Clapprich is coming out to talk to his young righty. Men on first and second with no one out. I would imagine maybe there could be a sacrifice bunt situation here. And now 3-3 is the score. An unfortunate sequence for post 22. As I mentioned, they had a 3-0 lead entering the bottom half of the 4th. Holden Jackson surrendered 3 singles in a row, the last one of the bunt variety. He then got relieved with Zach Weitzel. Weitzel followed up with a strikeout and then the invocation of the infield fly rule. And then a 2-run error from Heggery at Heggery at third brought in 2 runs, made it 3-2, got out of the jam with a ground out to short after that. And then a walk, an error on Heggery again, and another walk have not only knocked in a run, but now I have men on first and second for the left-handed hitting Cody Brooks. He swings away and he fouled off his first pitch. 0-1 his starting count. He is 2 for 2 with a pair of singles. And the 0-1 misses low. Schmidt gets a block. Everybody stays put. And it's a ball and a strike now to the left-handed hitting Sixers first baseman. Storm Nelson's on deck. He is the 4th gentleman I have in my 6-hole batter's box on my scorebook. Here comes the 1-1. Swung on and fouled off. And that goes straight to the backstop. A ball and 2 strikes now the count. Storm Nelson on deck. This will be his first at-bat when he comes up. Brooks trying to keep the train rolling here. The Hardhats desperately looking for a first out. Men on first and second, and there's still none registered. 1-2. Breaking pitch upstairs. It's 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes, the count from Weitzel to Brooks. 2 men on, no one out. And the pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. A big strikeout there for Weitzel, his second in relief. 1 down, double play now in effect to end the jam. And that'll bring up Storm Nelson in his first at-bat of this ballgame. Nelson in game 1 went 0 for 2. Men on first and second for Nelson, and finally 1 out for the Hardhats, and all of a sudden we're tied at 3. A walk put Andrin on. An error allowed him to take 2 bases to go to third, and a wild pitch brought him in. Weitzel from the stretch, deals. First pitch, called, strike at the outside corner. And it's 0-1 to start off for Nelson. Nelson came in to play center field. Pedroza substituted for Oswald. Pinch hitting was Aiden Colgan. Pinch running Tyson Bradley. And now Storm pitch. Swung on, and that ball is hit high in the air to center field. Charging in from center to make the catch is Connor King. And everybody retreats back to their respective base. So good contact from Storm Nelson, but Connor King read it the whole way. 2 retired in a row with men on first and second. That's going to bring up the second baseman, Nico Vite. Vite 0 for 2 with a line out to left and a strikeout. The first of 2 that Zach Weitzel has issued in this ballgame. Vite's came with the bases loaded and no one out back in the bottom of the 4th. First pitch is fought off foul. First base side and out of play. 0-1 now starting off for the second baseman of the Sixers. If he keeps the inning going, then either more damage is dealt or we have bases loaded. That'll bring up Matthew Semler. If not, Carter Deming will lead off the top of the 6th for the Hardhats with 9-1 and 2 due up. Weitzel a quick look around the base path. Men are on first and second. 2 outs now, and the next pitch to Vite is swung on and missed on the changeup. And quickly, Weitzel's in the driver's seat. No balls and 2 strikes. Ball 2 strikes now from Weitzel to Nico Vite. Weitzel trying bottom of the 5th. 2 outs, 2 men. That's the stop throw. So 6-3 in the book ends the threat and the inning. But the Hardhats do surrender a run. On no hits. 1 error charged to the Hardhats defense once again at third. 2 men left on the base path, 1 in scoring position. The go-ahead run left there. And at the end of 5 innings of play, we are now all square at 3 runs aside. We're going to take another breather, folks. When we come back, it's the top of the 6th inning, and Carter Deming to lead us off in just a few moments here on the official radio home of Post 22 Hardhats Baseball on ESPN Rapid City and stream live on the internet on Hardhats-TV. We have played 5 innings, and now there is no clear advantage on the scoreboard. We are all square at 3 runs aside. 2 errors in back-to-back innings, costing the Hardhats in that respect. Carter Deming to lead off the top of the 6th against Braxton Innes in his 2nd inning of relief, and the first pitch is high and inside for ball 1. Numbers across the board through 5. For the Hardhats, it's 3 runs on 6 hits with a pair of errors. And for the Sixers, it's 3 runs on 5 hits with 1 blemish. One in the ball game. His first hit of the season came in his last at-bat, and it was a single. His next pitch, a called strike on the outside, a fastball, and it's 2-1 now to Deming. Deming back to the top to Bowman and Hegre, due up here in the top of the 6th. 3-3 the score. 2-1 to Deming, swung on, chopped to short. Andrew gets the stop on the run. A hop, the throw to first is in time. What a play by Ryan Andren at short, the Jeterian leap, if you will. And Carter Deming called out. Ryan Clapperidge comes out to argue it, but the call will stand on the field. Whew, what a play that was. 1 up, 1 down for the Hardhats. That brings us back to the top of the order to Cooper Bowman. Andren on the run, away from first, by the way, to his right. Had to make the backhand scoop and then the Jeterian leap over to first for the out. Bowman looks at a first pitch, high and inside, 1-0. The Jeterian leap, for those that are not familiar, named after my all-time favorite baseball player, Derek Jeter, who made that leap. Next pitch to Bowman, misses inside. It's 2-0. Bates' path is empty with 1 out here in the top of the 6th. Now 2-1 from Innes, way outside. And it's 3 balls and a strike. Speaking of the Yankees, they are currently in action right now. They're down 4-3 to the Indians in the bottom of the 8th. The Yankees have won 15 of their last 16 games. So I'm just jacked to see that. 3-1, called strike on an off-speed pitch on the inside part of the plate, and it's a full count now for Cooper Bowman. 3-3 the score. The Hardhats trying to jump back on top. And the payoff pitch. Swung on, and the ball is chopped to the left side of the infield. Prince comes in from third. Throw to first is low, but it's in time. 5-3 in the book. 2 up, 2 down for the Hardhats on offense, and that will bring us to Matt Hegre. Hegre charged with 2 colossal errors in this game as of right now. They cost the Hardhats a 3-2 lead, and then... a 3-0 lead and then a 3-2 lead in back-to-back innings. So let's see if he can make up for that with his bat. He's showcased some good patience at the plate. He has been issued 2 4-pitch walks and grounded out to short, and he fouls off his first pitch. Excuse me, a fly out to center field. And again, 2 walks on 4 pitches. 0-1 the count here to Hegre. Full windup for Innes with a base path empty and 2 outs. And the next pitch is a called strike on the outside corner with a fastball. 0-2 quickly against the Hardhats' third baseman. Alex Weaver on deck should we get that far. Innes, the 0-2. Missed outside on the breaking ball, and Hegre didn't fish. 1 ball, 2 strikes now the count. If Hegre's retired, 8, 9, and 1 are due up for the Sixers in the bottom of the 6th. If not, Alex Weaver patiently waiting for a shot. 1-2, check swing, and he didn't go. 2-2 now the count on that low pitch. We have a 3-3 score on our hands. Hegre on the weekend came in batting .222, and on the season batting .250. 2-2 is fought off foul, and Hegre stays alive. Still a 2-2 count. The second error on Hegre was just unfortunate because he had to make a great play to even get in position to commit the error. He got a great snag at third. His throw to second was off track. 2-2, caught him looking, strike 3. That's strikeout number 2 for Braxton Innes, both of the backwards Ks. And it retires the Hardhats for the first time in this ballgame in 1-2-3 fashion. So a 1-2-3 inning, as we all know, means no runs, hits, errors, or anybody left on base. We've played 5.5. And we are still knotted up at 3 aside. Bottom of the 6th inning coming up. 8, 9, and 1 due up for Cheyenne. We'll be right back here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. For those that didn't see the news the other day, while we were promoting our watch party at Patty O'Neill's, the Rapid City Rush released their home schedule for the 2018-19 ECHL season. 2 brand new opponents are coming out to the Black Hills. The Florida Everblades, one of the historic powerhouses of this ECHL, coming all the way from Estero, Florida, to take on the Rush in a 3-game series in January. And then the Atlanta Gladiators, coming all the way from Georgia, will come on out for 3 games in February. Season ticket packages are on sale. Call 716-7825 to talk with either Jeremy, Joe, Steve, Eric, Aaron, or Brian. They will hook you up. Matthew Semler leads off the bottom of the 6th in this 3-3 game, and the first pitch he sees from Zach Weitzel in his 3rd inning of relief is a called strike on the outside corner. Semler 0 for 2, a fly out to right field, and then the invocation of the infield fly rule with the bases loaded back in the bottom of the 4th. 0-1, swung on, the ball's ripped in the air to center. Connor King backtracks nonchalantly underneath it, makes the catch. And that will retire Semler, 1 up, 1 down. Brings up Jackson Hesford, the left-handed hitting right fielder. Hesford is 0 for 2. He reached on that 2-run error back at the bottom of the 4th with the bases loaded. That was a throwing error by Heggery at 3rd to get the out at 1st. Tie ball game, no one on the base path, and 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. First pitch is swung on, hit foul high in the air. But it goes behind home plate and behind our press box. And Jackson Hesford starts off 0-1. Hesford's only seen 2 pitches in his first 2 at-bats. Let's see if he'll go further than 2. Both times he was either reaching on the error or retired, he had a 1-0 count. Now he's reversed. The 0-1, whoa, and way outside. 1-1 the count, so it looks like he will see more than 2. Base path is empty for the left-handed hitting left fielder with 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. We are tied up at 3. 1-1. That misses outside. 2 balls and a strike. The top of the order is on deck. That is Braxton Innes, the center fielder turned relief pitcher. And here comes the 2-1. Called strike at the knees of Hesford. A brilliant pitch from Weitzel. Zach Weitzel in relief of Holden Jackson, pitching in his 3rd inning. 2 balls, 2 strikes to count. Full windup for Weitzel, and he deals. Breaking pitch way outside, and the count goes full. Weitzel looking for his first strikeout, and if he got it, it would retire the first 2 batters. Now another payoff pitch coming up for him. Full windup for Weitzel, and he deals. Just inside, ball 4. That was too close for comfort. So Jackson Hesford issued a 1-out walk. There's a man on board, double play in effect to end the inning. And we're back to Braxton Innes, the center fielder turned relief pitcher, back at the top of the Sixers order. If the double play doesn't end the inning, then Ryan Andren's on deck. If it does end the inning, then Weaver, Sumption, and Caldwell are due up in our final inning of regulation in the top of the 7th. First pitch to Innes. Swung on, ball's hit to second. Deming gets the stop. Easy toss to second, and he missed Cooper Bowman. And the ball goes into left field. And they're going to hold Hesford at 3rd. Innes takes the single. Or rather, Innes takes first. He'll reach on the E4. And Carter Deming, a very uncharacteristic error on his part. That's the third one for the Hardhats in this ballgame. Hesford now 90 feet away from giving Cheyenne their first lead of the ballgame. And Ryan Andron's now up with men on the corners and one out. So if there's any silver lining, the double play is still in effect, but a third error. 3 innings in a row, the Hardhats have registered one, and it's come from the infield on what this team has made routine plays. First pitch to Andron is fouled. 0-1 the count. A very uncharacteristic error from Carter Deming. He's a fantastic infielder, especially at second base. But you've got to hope that that error doesn't come back to bite the Hardhats. Again, the double play can end it. That's what Deming was going for, was the 4-6-3. Ball and no strikes the count. Excuse me, no balls and a strike to Andron. And the 0-1 is low and away on a breaking pitch, and it's 1-1. So now Hesford is 90 feet away from giving Cheyenne their first. And on first with the E4 is Braxton Innes. 1-1, low and away. And slipping off of first was Innes, but Schmidt didn't throw. 2 balls and a strike to count. That's a smart decision by Schmidt, too, because depending on how that sequence goes, Hesford takes off from third if he's thrown to first. Here comes the 2-1. Swung on. Ball is hit high in the air to left. Alex Weaver is tracking it all the way to left. And King makes the catch, and tagging up from third and coming in to score on the sac fly RBI is Jackson Hesford. So a sac fly RBI for Ryan Andron, and for the first time today, Cheyenne has the lead, and it is 4-3, coming on another costly error. And now Finley Hastings comes up with a man on first and 2 outs. Finley's 0 for 2 with a walk, a fly out to center, and reached on an error his last time up. And the runner goes. It was a delayed steal, and Weitzel took his time on the mound before getting the throw off. So Braxton Innes has put himself in scoring position. Credit that gentleman with a stolen base, as the count is 1-1 now for Finley. Excuse me, 0-1. Read the scoreboard wrong. 0-1. Pitch was called a strike. And Weitzel's next pitch misses low and away, and now it's 1-1. 1-1 the count here for Finley Hastings. Weitzel, pitch from the stretch. Looks at second, and he deals. Swung on, and the ball is hit to third. Hegre with a great stop. Can he get the tag? He's trying to go for the tag, and he finally got it, and that will end the inning. Matt Hegre makes up for that one with a fantastic play. 5 on assisted fielder's choice, and that will end the bottom half of the 6th. 1 run scored, no hits, another error charged to the Hardhats, and a man left on first. And at the end of 6 innings, it is a 4-3 Sixers lead. They've scored in 3 consecutive innings. The coincidence with that, the Hardhats have surrendered an error in 3 consecutive innings. We'll go to the top of the 7th. Hardhats 3 outs away from losing their first game of the season. We'll be right back on ESPN Rapid City and Hardhats-TV. Well, the Hardhats are in an unfamiliar situation here, coming into the final inning of regulation, and they are down. And 3 outs away from falling for the first time this season. Errors are the story of this game once again, but instead of Cheyenne committing them late, it's the Hardhats. It's an active role reversal in which Post 22 in the 4th, 5th, and 6th inning surrendered errors, and all of them in some way, shape, or form either directly led to runs or advanced runners to eventually come in to score on another sequence. Braxton Innes is tasked with closing this one out. And Alex Weaver, Zach Sumption, and Jace Caldwell are the three gentlemen due up and tasked with trying to get at least one run across to keep this game going an extra. Alex Weaver will lead off against Innes. 0 for 3 with a backwards K and 2 putouts to the infield. Mark Benetti alongside you from Powers Field here in Cheyenne, Wyoming, here on ESPN Rapid City. 105.7 FM, 1340 AM. And we're also streamed via video, live on the internet, on Hardhats-TV. First pitch from Innes, a called strike at the knees of Weaver, and it's 0-1. So the Hardhats looking to hang on and try and tie this one up. Next pitch, a swung on, and that ball is ripped off the glove of Andrew, and it's short. He made a heck of an effort to snare it. But that will be a hit credited for Weaver. A very well-hit ball. Andrew nearly came down with it. And so the tying run is on board for the Hardhats. Credit Alex Weaver for a clutch hit. And that will bring up Zach Sumption. Sumption's had a great day as well. He's been on base 3 times with a single in the top of the 2nd and back-to-back walks in the 3rd and 5th. First pitch is at his letters for ball 1. So Sumption trying to keep this going as Weaver delivers with a clutch leadoff single. The tying run is on board. Good teams find ways to win no matter what, and the Hardhats are looking to prove that once again. 1-0. Called strike at the knees of Sumption. Got the outside corner, and it's 1-1. Jace Caldwell, the DH, on deck. No one out, a man on first here for the Hardhats. Top of the 7th. Running out of time, they trail 4-3. And the 1-1 is upstairs, 2-1. Alex Weaver takes his lead off of first. Innes looks in for the sign and will pitch from the stretch. 2-1 Assumption. Called strike at his knees. And it's 2-2 now to the Hardhats right fielder. Another 2-strike count for the Hardhats. Coach Clapperish was hoping his team would be a bit more aggressive. Two from Innes. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. And that is strikeout number 3 for Innes in relief, and a big one at that because the double play is now in effect to end the ball game. 1 on first, 1 out, and that up Jace Caldwell, the DH. Caldwell has put together some fantastic hitting today. An RBI double. In the last app, had Nelson not showcased his speed, he could have had another RBI under his belt. He looks at a first pitch strike inside at his knees, and it's 0-1. Weaver, a leadoff single, put him on the base path. He's still on first. Represents the tying run. 0-1 to Caldwell. Called strike in the exact same spot inside part of the plate. It's 0-2. And once again, another 2-strike count. And now Caldwell's going to step out and take some time to think of this. No balls, 2 pitch. Instead, Weaver was going. Scoring position. Swung on, and the ball is chopped foul. At 1-2 now for Caldwell. Jack Sorensen, the first baseman, is patiently waiting in the on-deck circle. Hardhats are down 4-3 to the Sixers for the first time today. 2 outs away from fall hold at 1-2. Look, if Caldwell's going to go down, at least he's going down swinging, and he's getting his money's worth. He leaves something hanging for him to crush. The more pitches he sees. Or no, stuck with the second baseman. There's confusion on the field. Cheyenne coaching has shown frustration. Now all of a sudden Coldwell is 90 feet away from giving back the lead to the Hardhats. Coldwell, I believe in my estimation, will be credited with an RBI single, and then he will have advanced all the way around. Weaver comes in to score. A tie ball game on our hands at 4-4. But now it's 1 out, and Coldwell 90 feet away from giving the Hardhats the lead. And now we have a conference. Coach Ty Lane comes and brings the entire infield in to go over that sequence. I'm very shocked at how that sequence went, because it looked like a close play. My estimation, I could have sworn Coldwell may have been out, but there was no signal from anyone. The infield umpire, the home plate umpire, nobody signaled out. Coldwell looked around, everybody stood there, and he just went to third. Nobody was covering the bag. Wow. Talk about a crazy sequence. So now the infield is in, and Jack Sorensen is up and tasked with knocking in Coldwell. First pitch is swung on and missed. He's behind 0-1 on the off-speed pitch. Sorensen 2 for 3 with an RBI single, an infield single, and he also reached on an error. So he's been on base 3 times in 3 trips to the batter's box. Infield again is in. 1 out. We're tied at 4, and Coldwell's 90 feet away from giving the Hardhats the lead. Sorensen blasts this one high in the air to left, giving chase is Hesford, and Hesford can't make the catch. It bobbles off of his diving body and goes under the fence. This will be a ground rule double, I believe. An RBI ground rule double, and the Hardhats are back on top with Jack Sorensen on second and 1 out here at the top of the 7th. And Jace Caldwell comes home. An RBI ground rule double. With 1 out in the top of the 7th, and somehow the Hardhats are back on top. Connor King is now up with Sorensen in scoring position. And still 1 of the 7th. And the first pitch rides upstairs for ball. Next pitch misses outside. It's 3-1 now to King. Very close. There must have been a umpire, just must have lost sight of the ball. But they called Coldwell safe. He advanced to third because nobody covered the, and then Sorensen knocked him in with the ground rule double. 3-1 swung on, and that ball is pushed into shallow left center, and it's going to drop in front of Nelson for a base hit. And rounding third, and Hedges fought off foul, and he's behind 0-1. Schmidt looking for his first hit of the ball game, but he does have an RBI under his belt. That was an RBI ground out back in the top of the 2nd. Since then, he has struck out looking in back-to-back at-bats, hoping to avoid a three-peat. Innes takes time looking at second, and the 0-1 is low and inside. It's dropped by the catcher, Finley Hastings. Throw to third, not in time. And Connor King takes advantage of third with stolen base. 1-1 now the count, with King 90 feet away. And I believe the infield's coming back in. Infield is in. 1-1 the count here to Schmidt. He's got a man 90 feet to his left. And the 1-1 buzzes the tower high and inside. It's 2-1. Carter Deming is on deck. 1 for 2 with his first hit of the season in this game. 2-1. Swung on, and the ball is hit right to short. Andren gets the stop, checks the runner, and the throw to first is in time. So good defense executed there by the Sixers infield. And good on Andren to take the time to check King so he didn't move. And he is 0-1. He shows bunt, but it goes way foul third base side. 0-2. Tried to catch everybody asleep at the ball, so it traveled. Innes looking for his 4th strikeout, and it's high and away. He's going to have to wait an extra pitch. 1-2 now the count to the Hardhats second baseman. If Deming's retired, the heart of the order's due up for the Sixers to try and tie this one back up. It's a 6-4 Hardhats lead. 1-2, caught him looking, strike 3. And it's another backwards K, and the 4th strikeout in relief for Innes, and that's going to do it. The Hardhats have scored 3 runs in this inning on the power of 4 hits. There were No errors charged to the Sixers, and a man left 90 feet from scoring. 6.5 innings, and the Hardhats battled back from down 4-3. They are up 6-4. We'll be right back with the bottom of the 7th in the heart of the Sixers order due up here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. We have a pitching change on the mound as well as a shuffling of the infield for the Hardhats. Jack Sorensen, 2 days in a row, will now come onto the mound and try to close this one out for post 22. That means taking over at first base is Jace Caldwell. Sorensen made his first appearance yesterday in the second game of the doubleheader. He went 2 innings, struck out 3 and walked 1, didn't allow a single run or hit on 28 pitches. So he takes over for Zach Weitzel, who went 3 innings and allowed 2 runs on no hits. Weitzel ended up striking out 2, and he walked 2. So now Sorensen takes over, and Jace Caldwell loses his tag as the designated hitter. He moves to first, and Sorensen moves to the mound. Sorensen will take on Prince, Brooks, and Nelson in this bottom half of the 7th. The Hardhats battled back for 3 runs in the top of this frame to take a 6-4 lead, and Sorensen's first pitch rides upstairs for ball 1 to Prince. Prince is 2 for 3 on the ball game, struck out in his first plate appearance, and then 1 for 2, singled and then walked. Couldn't read my handwriting there for a second. 1-0 is swung on, and that's ripped over the head of Hegre. That drops fair into the corner and goes all the way into left field. Weaver comes into field, but holding at first is Prince. So Prince with a leadoff single. Now he's 2 for 3. And that will bring up Cody Brooks, the left-handed hitting first baseman. Brooks represents the tying run, and he is 2 for 3. Pair of singles and a strikeout the last time he was up. And the first pitch, swung on, ball's hit high in the air. It's in foul territory, third base side. Hegre is on it, and he makes the catch. So that was a big first out registered by the Hardhats in foul territory on the first pitch of the at-bat for Brooks, too. So 1 down, the double play in effect to end the ball game, and that is going to bring up Storm Nelson, who's 0 for 1, came into the 6th spot for both Pedroza and for Aiden Colgan. He flew out to center field. First pitch from Sorensen, called strike at his belt, and it's 0-1. Double play in effect to end the ball game. Sorensen would like that, get out in as few pitches as possible. He's about to throw number 5 on his third batter. 0-1 to Nelson. Called strike, fastball at the knees, and it's 0-2. Taking his lead off at first is Prince with the leadoff single. 0-2. Just missed outside, and Nelson didn't fish. 1-2. Now the count from Sorensen to Nelson. Storm Nelson struck out 3 times yesterday. In both games in the doubleheader, he came in as a substitute in this one. Flew out to center. 1-2. Misses low and away again. Nelson not fishing for it. And it's 2-2. I imagine Sorensen's going to come in and attack now. He tried to get him to fish on 2 pitches. 2-2. Inside, too far inside, and credit Nelson. He was behind 0-2 and now has battled to a full count. Big payoff pitch coming here for Jack Sorensen. And the 3-2 swung on, and it's flared down the first baseline and foul. And the count will hold full. If the double play doesn't end the ball game, Nico Vite's on deck. Vite looking for his first hit. He's 0 for 3. Payoff number 2. Swung on, and the ball is chopped to third. Haggerty gets the stop. The throw to first is in time. And in the sequence, Prince advances to second. It'll be a 5-3 fielder's choice. So 2 outs, the tying run at the plate, and a man on second for Vite. And as I mentioned, he's 0 for 3 with a strikeout in this game. Sorensen looking for the final out. And the pitch is low and away for ball 1. Zach Weitzel, currently the pitcher of record for the Hardhats. He came in before Sorensen did, and that's when the Hardhats gained the lead. So Sorensen would get the save here. 1-0. Swung on. Ball is hit to third. Haggerty gets the stop, and the throw to first is in time. And that is going to end the ball game. And so the Hardhats were down with their backs to the wall and only 3 outs left, and came all the way back with 3 runs in the top half of the 7th inning to take the win and the sweep over the Cheyenne Post 6 Sixers. They are now 4-0 on the season and have taken all 3 games this weekend. Final score, Hardhats 6 and the Sixers 4. We'll take a quick step aside, folks, and when we come back, I'll walk you through everything you needed to know about this contest and set the table for our matchup in Spearfish on Tuesday night. You're listening to Post 22 Hardhats Baseball on ESPN Rapid City and watching it on Hardhats-TV. Post 22 Hardhats Baseball here on ESPN Rapid City is presented by Courtesy Subaru, Shields, Qdoba Mexican Eats, Renewal by Anderson, Sicky's Garage Burgers and Brews, Mustang disaster cleanup, and the Man Salon. You know, I keep making disaster cleanup jokes, but my goodness, did the Hardhats really need to clean one up in the latter innings of this ball game. They got into a tad bit of error trouble that erased essentially what was a 3-0 lead in this contest, and ultimately took the win over Cheyenne post 6-4 to take a 3-game sweep of the weekend. Thanks so much for joining us for all the action this weekend, especially today's finale of this 3-game set. This is Mark Benetti alongside you in the broadcast booth here on ESPN Rapid City, the official radio home of Post 22 Hardhats Baseball. We are on 105.7 FM, 1340 AM on your radios, and we are also viewed on the internet on Hardhats-TV. Hardhats take the win 6-4 to get the sweep, and we'll tell you just exactly how that happened in our recap. For the first time in 3 games this season, or now 4, the Hardhats struck first in the ballgame. They had a 3-run on 4-hit top of the second inning. And starting off that rally was Zach Sumption. After the Hardhats had a man in scoring position, and they couldn't knock him in, Sumption started off the second inning with a single, followed by a Jace Caldwell RBI double, followed by a Jack Sorensen RBI single, and then a Connor King double. So the first 4 gentlemen on the batting order made their way onto the base path. The first 3 came around because Ryan Schmidt knocked in the third one with an RBI ground out. So 3-0 the Hardhats lead. They're playing some fantastic baseball defensively and offensively. But then we get to around the bottom of the 4th inning, and that is when errors started to really creep up on this Hardhats team. Olden Jackson went the first 3 innings of the game to start off on the mound for the Hardhats. And in that bottom of the 4th, led off with a single, allowed another single. Then Aiden Colgan shows sacrifice bunt. He bunts for a single, so now it's 3 consecutive hits. The bases are loaded, no one's out. Jackson is relieved with Zach Weitzel. And Weitzel comes in his Hardhats debut, gets his first strikeout right off the bat, follows it up with the invocation of the infield fly rule with Matthew Sembler. So now you've got 2 outs and the bases loaded. And you think, based on how Weitzel's pitching, he's going to get out of the jam. Well, the next batter he sees is Jackson Hesford, and he hits a ball to third. Hegre gets the stop, and in my estimation, I thought he had time to make the play at third to end the inning. Instead, he elects to throw to first, just the routine play, and he throws it off track. And it goes right by Jack Sorensen, and it knocks in 2 runs. The E5 makes it then a 3-2 Hardhats lead. And luckily for Zach Weitzel and company, a 6-3 ground out was induced to end the inning. So at the end of 4, the Hardhats lead is now 6-2. You transition to the top of the 5th inning, and the Hardhats get a leadoff walk from Sumption, trying to get some breathing room. He's stranded on third. And then Ryan Schmidt strikes out looking with men on the corners. They can't knock in that 4th run, so it's still a 3-2 Hardhats lead. Bottom of the 5th comes along, and Weitzel leads off with a full count walk, and then another E5. Hegre gets a fantastic stop at third, goes to second for the routine out, overthrows the second baseman, Carter Deming. Actually may have tipped off the finger of his glove. That allows the man on first, Andren, who got on with the leadoff walk, to take 2 bases and advance to third. Before you know it, a wild pitch will advance him home, and now we've got a tie ball game on our hands. Hardhats get out of the jam, strand the go-ahead run on second. We get to the 6th inning, and for the first and only time all game, the Hardhats go 1-2-3, and that's where more errors in the bottom half of the inning crept in on the Hardhats. Weitzel locks it down, and he retires the first batter, Matthew Sembler, with a fly out to center. But then he walks Jackson Hesford, and then an error on Carter Deming allows him to advance all the way from first to third. Deming was going to go for the inning-ending double play, and he threw it wide of Cooper Bowman, the shortstop. So now all of a sudden you have men on the corners, and a sac fly RBI from Ryan Andren knocks in the go-ahead run. And now the Hardhats, for the first time all day, trail 4-3, allowing errors in 3 consecutive innings and subsequently 4 runs in 3 consecutive innings. Hardhats get out of the jam. They go into the top of the 7th. Alex Weaver leads off with a single, steals second. Zach Sumption strikes out on a 2-2 count. And then Jace Caldwell comes in with an RBI single. And in the most crazy sequence of events, Weaver scores. Caldwell tries to stretch his single into a double. There's a close play at second that I could have sworn Caldwell was out at second. Instead, the umpire makes no signal, and because of the relays and cutoff throws, the infield was all jacked up and no one covered third. So Caldwell took advantage of the confusion. He advanced to third. All of a sudden, you have a tie ball game on your hands, and the go-ahead runs 90 feet away from scoring. And then that is when Jack Sorensen comes up with an RBI ground rule double to make it 5-4. Connor King knocks him in and takes advantage of second on the throw. It's 6-4 on his RBI, and then the inning ends. We get to the bottom of the seventh. R.J. Prince leads off with a single. Tying run is at the plate, 3 consecutive batters. Cody Brooks pops out in foul territory to third. Storm Nelson grounds into a 5-3 fielder's choice to advance the runner to scoring position, and then Nico Vite grounds out to third. And that's all she wrote. The Hardhats get the win, 6-4 the final score after 7 innings of regulation. They take the sweep and will improve to 4-0 heading into their matchup against Spearfish on Tuesday night. Final numbers across the board for the Hardhats. It was 6 runs on 10 hits with 3 errors in the field, and those 3 errors nearly cost them the game. On the other side of things, the Sixers 4 runs on 6 hits with 1 error defensively. Zach Weitzel in relief in his post-22 debut gets the win. Jack Sorensen, in his first save opportunity of the season, converts for his first save. The game went just over 2.5 hours. It was 2 hours and 31 minutes to be specific. And now that leads us to our next matchup coming on Tuesday night, May 8th. It is a 6 o'clock showdown against the Spearfish Spartans. Spearfish will host the Hardhats for one 9-inning game, and then after that, the Hardhats will make another road trip to Billings, Montana. They're going to take on the Scarlets and Royals and the Missoula Mavericks. Thanks so much for sticking with us all weekend, folks. For all of us with the Post 22 organization, from General Manager Wayne Sullivan to Head Coach Kelvin Torvey and crew, as well as my Director of Hardhats-TV, Seth Harwood, all of our friends at ESPN Radio in Rapid City with Chris Halgo and Ian Rambo. This is Mark Benetti saying so long. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we will see you Tuesday night from Spearfish on ESPN Rapid City, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM, and on Hardhats-TV, the official broadcast media of your Post 22 Hardhats. Good afternoon, everyone.